104.9. Business, economy, development. Stay tuned.
At the Africa Development Studies Center, ADSC, we are committed to driving sustainable growth and development across Africa through innovative training and research. Our mission: empowering leaders, policymakers, and professionals with the tools they need to create lasting change. With customized training, dynamic research programs, and study exchanges on leadership, management, and other critical development topics, ADSC offers a platform for exchanging cutting-edge ideas and global best practices. We provide comprehensive services in research and consultancy, capacity building and training, education programs, publishing, and knowledge sharing. Our esteemed faculty, composed of seasoned experts and researchers, ensures a learning experience that is insightful and practical. We specialize in policy development, implementation strategies, monitoring, and evaluation. At ADSC, learning is engaging and enjoyable. Our unique methodology includes talks, interactive exercises, games, video screenings, and lively seminar discussions, all in a comfortable and friendly environment. Ready to make an impact? For more information, email us at info@adstudycenter.com or call +234 912 439 2362. Visit us today at www.adstudycenter.com to explore our programs and upcoming events. Africa Development Studies Center, rethinking development for Africa.
My name is Muiba Wonu Folami, an indigenous of Lagos State, Ikorodu, to be specific. I was born in Lagos 86 years ago, and to the glory of God, I'm still alive and well, and trying to be a relative in the cause of women. I attended primary school. I started at Ansarudin Alakuru School, from there to CMS Girls School, and then Queen's College, Lagos. From Queen's College, I went to the Portsmouth College of Technology for my A-levels, and then University of London for my first degree in law. The same university for my master's degree in law. I had, between obtaining my master's and my first degree, I was in Nigeria to do the mandatory law school course. I was one of the last people to do a 3-month course before it was changed to 1 year. And then went back to England for my master's. And from there to lecture at the University of Zambia. Back to Nigeria, I was appointed by Dr. Taslim Elias, the CJ of Nigeria, to the Commission for Advance Notice to Lawyers of Developments in Law. It was a commission funded by the Ford Foundation to keep lawyers abreast of the developments in law. I was a director there. Then from there, I was admitted to the Federal Ministry of Justice. Right after being legal advisor to many ministries, I ended up as the Director of Public Prosecutions for the Federation. And after that, whilst I was the Director of DPP, I was appointed Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Lagos State. After retirement, I've been involved in social work, in religion. I've always had religion, but I spend more time on religion. I read, I watch telly, and I live a good life to the glory of God. You see, when you begin to think that it was not until 2007 that women started to get equal pay in tennis tournaments. And it was something that was fought for. Little things like that does not add to equality. But when it was done, it may be small, but at work, even at work in employment, women are still discriminated against. And most women do two jobs. They look after the home, and they do the normal work that a man does in an office. Why I fail to understand this inequality in the treatment of women is that the work, the responsibilities in the workplace is not reduced for women, even though we do not want to be paid the same salary as men. It's a fight that has continued, and in that area, I think we need to do more to push for more recognition. Women have contributed immensely to the society. The men that are now resisting equal pay were brought up by women. That's what I do not understand, that they can think like that. We continue to push.
But how can we speed this up?
By bringing it to the attention of world powers, recognition by every country of equal opportunities, equal pay. I want to know, I want somebody to explain to me the jobs that women cannot do.
Yeah.
They've contributed immensely. Even in the new thing, IT, we're at par with men. So I do not see the reason for it. Unfortunately, I did not experience it, because when I left university, I practiced law briefly in my uncle's chambers before I went to University of Zambia as a lecturer. There, my position was enhanced in the sense that I was a foreigner, and I got all the benefits of being a foreigner, serving in their service. Fortunately, in Nigeria today, the federal government does not discriminate in terms of salaries. Whether you're a man or a woman, you get the same salary scale, and you are promoted on equal basis. Kudos to the federal government, to Nigeria for that. But in the private sector, things are different. In some companies, this is the areas that we have to work on, because the job content is the same. some of these facilities are available in Nigeria. I learned by being a member of the Society for the Disabled that every government body must admit a certain percentage of women and of disabled people. So most times this opportunity is not taken. They are bound to employ them. We continue to push for that to be implemented in most ministries. It's important because it's there. You have to take a certain percentage of disabled people to work in government positions. It's important that we work to enforce that rule in our society. When it comes to discrimination, Nigeria is way, way ahead of some developed countries because we, through slavery, we faced discrimination right from the beginning. We now know how to resist it. But in my country, Nigeria, in the federal government, in the state government, there is no discrimination. It may happen in private organizations, but they must continue to push to let them understand that the job content is the same. Well, you see, traditionally, under our culture, women are in the other room. To borrow the quotation. Yeah. That's our society. That's our culture. It's going to take a long time to evolve. In my time, female education was not so popular. It's only the educated few that strove to send their children to school, their girl child to school. They end up trading with their mothers or going to market and getting married off early. But as education began to rise in our community, its value was seen by my parents and others of their contemporaries to educate the girl child. And I believe the society is benefiting from that. So we must continue to push for the education of women, of girls. I have thought that, when I read that, the certain state government has appointed look at our National Assembly, 4 women in the Senate. Isn't that shameful? And that is the society. We have to continue to push women up. Let these political parties know that we want women. Let us organize ourselves to continue to vote for women massively. I give kudos to our governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. His cabinet women is well represented in his cabinet. And I enjoy that. I love him for that. And I continue to urge him to do more. He's done a lot. I think Lagos State has the largest representative of women in cabinet. First of all, they have to project themselves in their office space, their workspace. let everybody know that they are equal to the task. Let us organize. There's a lot of society groups and societies that cater for the interest of women. I believe now violence against women is reducing in the society because there are sanctions for such behavior. I must say that speaking to the organization in charge of violence against women, I was amused to learn that some men come there to complain and that they are also being violated and abused.
Yes, it's a two-way thing.
It's a two-way thing. So that is reducing our society. Education of the girl child is important. We have to let the locals know that education is important. Let them showcase to them the lives of those who have been educated and who are holding high positions. I'm glad that our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has returned history to the classrooms. It's important. Let them know about people that have contributed to the development of our societies and country. It's important. Yes, it's education. It's education. Once people are educated and they know that there is nothing a man can do that a woman cannot do when it comes to the workplace. We have women engineers, miners, and also all over. Give me a job specific that a woman cannot do, then I'll change my views. So the moment you begin to upgrade education, let government now continue to vote more for education. I don't believe we are doing enough. There is a UN convention, and I think Nigeria is part of that convention, that a certain amount of a nation's income should be devoted to education. I'm not sure whether Nigeria is complying with that. But some states are better than others. And we must, education, I believe in education of the girl child. Some states now are taking children, girls off the street. Hawking is completely prohibited. Things like that will help. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we are not advanced enough to use our votes to change things. We are still not voting for individuals. We are voting for parties, irrespective of performance. Education will help. And when we join other nations for the same purpose, we will get results. Our organizations who are fighting for women in Nigeria should join worldwide organizations to showcase our own situation and learn. I believe that when you talk to others, you are saying conferences, you come back with ideas on how to improve things. So we must improve things by telling women in positions to show, to continue to prove that they are more than up to the task. It will not come to us on a platter of show by our actions and behavior that we are up to the task. Of course, some women are wrong in claiming equal rights to their husbands in the house. I completely abhor that behavior. Even though they are husband and wife, the man in my culture remains the head. He should be respected. His views should be respected. It's only now the condition of living is so high that you join the two incomes together to run the house. In the past, it was the men that ran the house to pay for everything. Maybe some of these women are thinking that because they are contributing a quota to the development, that they have equal rights. Yes, they have equal rights in the upbringing of the children, in their homes and everything. But respect is important. That will keep the home, and the children will learn and imbibe it into their own children too. Equal right does not, in my view, mean that you can be rude, can not submit to your husband's wishes. Equal right means something differently. Respect comes out of it. It's important. I go out and I'm like appalled at the way women dress. There's a competition to show as much of your body, to do as much of your body that you can. It's absolutely difficult. They're not women. They're no longer women. The exposure, things that if you did in my time, a member of the community will cover you with a cloth and send you home. Because community mattered at that time. You dare not misbehave outside your compound because this community is watching you and reprimanding you if you go wrong, if you behave badly outside. That is law. And that is why you see people, even their dressing, show disrespect to womanhood and to themselves and to the community. We must teach our children etiquette of dressing, speech, how to think and speak in a decent manner. We don't have it anymore. We're losing it, and it's shameful because people are appreciating naked women on the streets. Both sides. If people dress badly and you tell them and ignore them, they won't try the next time. For instance, I believe nobody can dress to come to my house or to come to my party like a naked woman. I will turn her back. I will turn her back. So that's the type of thing that we should all do. Let the people doing this know that we do not appreciate things like this. When the society itself corrects it, we must correct it individually. We should, if their parents cannot correct it, we must, by ignoring them and not allowing them to come near us. Show our women that have contributed to the society. Yeah. Show them, showcase them, showcase them. Yeah. We have the first woman senior advocate of Nigeria. We have Okonjo-Iweala. We have, in the UN. We have all sorts. We have what's this pharmaceutical woman? Um, she's done so much. The younger ones are there. Little ones like Shadi Okoya is managing her husband's company and doing well. Let's encourage them. They are young. The young ones, they are working to improve the society. There's so many of them out there. We should showcase them. Let them know that we have women who are of top quality, intelligent, and well-behaved, and they dress well. Dressing well is dressing in a manner that is appealing to the eyes, not nakedness. That's my darling, this new CJN of Nigeria.
Okay.
Who do that? I did talk about Kekere. I mean, we're there. Female CJN.
Yeah.
And there are so many female chief judges all over the Federation. There are so many in the medical profession, in the engineering profession. We have pilots. So let them know that there is nothing that a woman cannot do. In IT, in everything, women are moving forward. We should showcase them. We should let their pictures be seen in our newspapers, in our news, in everything, to encourage young girls that you too can get there. If they don't see, and if they don't know the history of these women, how they got there, they too will not be inspired. We have to inspire the young people with the achievements of women achievers. Kekere rose from magistrate to right to the top. I admire her. She's well composed, well behaved. Some of these people, when they become something, they lose their heads. They start with, no, she's so respectful, well behaved, well dressed. I don't think she would allow herself or her children to come out naked. Never. So people like that, Okonjo Iweala the same. We have a lot.
Trafalgar Square, established in 1844, is a symbol of British naval history and a popular cultural spot in London. Named after the 1805 Battle of Trafalgar, it has been the site of celebrations, protests, and cultural events, representing the changing identity of the city. It houses several landmarks, like the Nelson Column, St. Martin in the Fields Church, and the National Gallery. The Nelson's Column, a tribute to a naval hero, is the main feature of Trafalgar Square. Standing 52 meters tall, completed in 1843, it honors Admiral Horatio Nelson's victory at Trafalgar. The column is topped with a statue of Nelson, and 4 bronze panels at its base show scenes from his battles. Surrounding it are 4 large bronze lions added in 1867, symbolizing British power.
Not just in its look, but this is very much the sort of centre of London. You know, whenever there's a celebration, a protest, it's a public space that's very important for a lot of not just people that live in London, but for the UK. You know, it's a place where people would congregate. You know, I remember being here all around the 2012 Olympics. We were very much one of the centerpieces of British iconic culture. Yeah, no, you used to be able to climb on the lions when I was younger, but you can't do it anymore. So there you go, that's progress for you.
St. Martin's in the Fields Church, reputed as an architectural gem, was built between 1722 and 1726. It is known for its neoclassical design by architect James Gibbs and is famous for its portico and steeple and has influenced architecture worldwide. The church also a rich musical history, hosting concerts and helping the homeless.
Yeah, I actually came to London just on a little day trip, and then I remembered that this church sometimes has classical music on, so I just popped in, and there's no concert, but there were some people practicing. So there's a quartet of violins, and they made some lovely, sort of practice for some classical concert. So I really enjoyed just sitting there for 10 minutes, listening to it. It's lovely. It's a really nice church, and it's nice that the people don't use it much time. So we used to have a nice cafe as well. It's a good church.
The National Gallery, founded in 1824, is a treasure trove of art. Located on the north side of Trafalgar Square, it houses over 2,300 artworks from the 13th to 20th century, with free public access to masterpieces from major European artists.
I'm not really sure. I haven't been through the museum yet, but I'm here for a Christian heritage tour to kind of learn more about the history of the Protestant Reformation in England and Christian history here in England through the paintings that are in the gallery. So that's what I'm here for today.
Trafalgar Square blends Britain's naval history with modern art and culture. It remains an important public space, attracting millions of visitors each year to experience London's rich heritage and vibrant atmosphere. Chike Okolo, reporting for Souq News.
Nigeria leather industry has a storied history, particularly in the northern parts of the country, where the art of leather farming and crafting has been perfected over centuries. Traditionally, leather was used primarily for functional items like sandals, bags, and saddles, with little emphasis on fashion. However, the narrative has changed drastically in recent years, as Nigerian leather has evolved from a utilitarian product to a symbol of luxury and high fashion. Here is a special report by Bayo Olaoye. The turning point for Nigerian leather came as local designers began to recognize its potential beyond traditional uses. They started to experiment with new designs, creating products that appeal to the modern consumer while maintaining the heritage of craftsmanship. The result has been a wave of leather products that are not only functional, but also stylish and desirable on the global stage. One of the key factors driving the revolution is the exceptional quality of Nigerian leather. Known for its durability and unique texture, Nigerian leather, particularly from goats and cattle, has become highly sought after by fashion houses both within and outside Africa. This demand has encouraged local artisans to up their game, focusing on quality control and finishing techniques to meet international standards. Moreover, Nigerian leather products have benefited from the global trend towards sustainable and ethically produced goods. Consumers are increasingly turning away from massively produced items in favor of the handcrafted, sustainable alternatives. Nigerian leather made using traditional methods with minimal environmental impact fits perfectly into this narrative. This has opened up markets for Nigerian leather goods, particularly in Europe and North America, where there is a growing appreciation for products with a story and a conscience. The rise of Nigerian leather on the fashion scene is also closely tied to the country's booming creative industry. Fashion designers, many of whom had gained international recognition, are incorporating leather into their collections and innovative ways, from sleek handbags and bespoke shoes to stylish jackets and accessories. The Nigerian leather is becoming a staple in high fashion. This trend is not only boosting the profile of Nigerian fashion, but also creating new opportunities for economic growth. The leather industry, once dominated by small-scale craftsmen, is now attracting significant investment. Entrepreneurs are setting up modern tannery and workshops, creating jobs and fostering skills development in the process. This industrialization of leather products is helping to formalize what was once an informal sector, leading to better working conditions and high incomes for artisans. However, the success of Nigerian leather market did not emerge without challenges. The industry still faces issues related to infrastructure, access to finance, and competition from imported goods. Additionally, there is the need for more investment in technology and innovation to further enhance the quality of leather products and make them more competitive in the global market. Despite these challenges, the future of Nigerian leather products looks bright. There is a growing recognition of the value of locally produced leather goods both within Nigeria and globally. This is evident in the increasing number of fashion shows and trade fairs dedicated to promoting Nigerian leather products, as well as the rising demand from international buyers. The evolution of Nigerian leather from a utilitarian material to a symbol of high fashion is a testament to the creativity and resilience of the Nigerian artisans. It reflects the broader trend in the global fashion industry towards sustainability and craftsmanship. As the world continues to embrace African fashion, Nigerian leather is poised to become a major player on the international stage, offering a unique blend of tradition, quality, and style. This is just the beginning of what promises to be an exciting new chapter for Nigerian leather.
The unexpected rise of Ankara fabric in West Africa has transformed it from merely an industry into a vital part of culture, identity, and art woven into everyday life. This evolution has encouraged many to enter into the business side of Ankara. Today, the fabric is not only worn, but also used in interior decorations and artworks, making it a significant item in our changing world. Despite this, the industry stands at a crossroads, balancing tradition, modern challenges, and global market demands. My name is Grace Komolafe, and I invite you to join me on this second episode of Ankara as we explore the current state of production, the hurdles it faces, particularly in Nigeria, and the abundant opportunities that exist within this vibrant sector. Ankara's journey from West African markets to the global stage highlights its enduring appeal and the resilience of its producers. However, to fully harness its export potential, addressing quality, policy, and logistical challenges is essential. Ankara has become a global fashion statement with its bold patterns and rich colors now staples on international runways, reflecting a growing appreciation for African aesthetics. Nigeria and Ghana have long anchored Ankara production, keeping alive an industry with deep cultural significance. In Nigeria, there is a specialized market where you can find all kinds of Ankara fabric to suit your needs, whether for business parties or home use. Are you aware that Oshodi Market in Lagos is the major Ankara market in the country? People travel from every part of Nigeria to this market to make purchases for different reasons, either for Ashwebi, different occasions, or for business. In this market, you would find importers, you would find wholesalers, and again, you would find retailers. Are you thinking of going into Ankara business? In this report, we have more information to share with you.
No, this one is a different company.
Despite Nigeria's rich resources, skilled workforce, and a large domestic market eager for Ankara fabric, the country has struggled to capitalize on this potential. In the face of rising imports and global competition, the Ankara industry is looking inward towards alternatives that preserve cultural heritage while empowering local economies. Innovative approaches and traditional methods are revitalizing Ankara production across West Africa, particularly in Nigeria. While the future is bright, it is not without challenges. The high reliance on cheaper imports has led to an overwhelming dependence on foreign textiles, which now dominates over 80% of Nigeria's fabric market. How have Ankara sellers and business owners been able to sustain growth in the industry?
What kind of Ankara do you sell? Big or small?
We sell big, small, and medium range.
Great. I think this is the first person I'm meeting that sells 3 categories of Ankara. I actually met people that does medium and small. I met someone that does just the small. So good to know that you are doing 3 categories, big, medium, and small. So why did you decide to go into a full-blown Ankara business?
Because any customer can walk in now and request for small one. I will attend to the person. If you want medium, I have. If you want big one, I have.
You don't want to lose anybody.
I don't want to lose anybody.
You like money.
I'm people man now. I'm supposed to like money very well.
When someone is alive, when he's going to be sing. So for now, things are so high. When I'm still learning this business to my master, that time it was 700 or 600 like that. So things started increasing every day. So that is the problem we have. The customers are complaining, this are complaining. Both people that are coming from far journey saying that after this, there's no much gain on it again. So that's the challenge we have.
Long before Ankara became a global phenomenon, West African textiles were celebrated for their craftsmanship and cultural significance, with Nigeria being a key player. Today, Nigeria's textile industry has faced significant challenges over the past few decades, despite the country's rich potential in cotton production and a historical legacy of vibrant textile manufacturing. Once a leader in the sector with over 180 textile mills in the 1970s employing more than 1 million Nigerians, the industry has been in decline since the 1990s, grappling with issues such as smuggling, high production costs, outdated machinery, and inconsistent government policies. Instead of boosting the Nigerian textile industry, interest in importation continues to rise. With a renewed interest in textiles, including Ankara fabric, local production remains low. An influx of cheap imports surged over 100% to 365.5 billion naira in 2022, undermining the demand for locally produced textiles. As Nigeria strives to engage in the business, the high cost of importation negatively impacts their efforts. The situation is compounded by rising energy costs and a depreciation in currency, leading Nigerians to depend largely on imported Ankara to meet the demands of customers.
Importation business now is a hell. It's very, very expensive. Just last month, the clearing of the goods was about 6 million naira. Overnight, it turned to 14 million. Should we stop selling Ankara? No. We have to go on, move. The price that we give customer, in 1 hour, it changed automatically. But because we are into the system, we know how to manage the price.
As customers become more conscious of their environmental and social impact, the demand for sustainable and ethically produced textiles is on the rise. Ankara, with its deep cultural roots, is uniquely positioned to lead the way in this movement. The global market for Ankara is expanding, with new opportunities emerging beyond West Africa. However, tapping into these markets requires strategic planning, quality assurance, and effective marketing.
Actually, like, person want to do the business, it depends. If you have the money, because this business now it's all about money.
Capital intensive.
Capital, no amount of money that is enough. No amount of money. If you have 10 million, 20 million, 100 million, you can start up something, because when you check this one now, this level now, but one level now is almost 48,000 or 37,000. So when you now calculate one line, two line, three lines, so you can see that it's millions of money. So if you want to go into the business, if you have the cash or you have the power, it's a nice business, but you must have money to rotate the business.
Ankara business is not a child's play, I want to say, with what I've heard today. You want to go into Ankara business, of course you can start a very small scale. Do not say no to small beginning, do not despise little beginning, but I must say, if you want to do a big time Ankara business, it's not a child's play, you must be ready for it, I tell you. So for instance, you have this line, like I mentioned earlier, you'll be having this pack goes for about 40-something thousand, and you're having a couple of them. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, the number you keep counting. Did you see? Same colors, and we're having different designs. It's not a child's play. Millions of naira goes into this business, and you can see this is Oshodi, where Ankara business takes place, the real business. This is where it happens. Yes, from all over the states in Nigeria, they come all the way to Oshodi to do their biddings in Ankara business.
The Ankara industry, a cornerstone of West African culture and economy, is deeply influenced by government policies. Yet, the implementation of these policies is not without its challenges. Bureaucratic delays, corruption, and inconsistent enforcement often undermine their effectiveness. The success of the Ankara industry is intertwined with the government's actions. Thoughtful policies and effective implementation can drive growth. Moreover, regional and international trade agreements such as the African Continental Free Trade Area (AFCFTA) offer new opportunities for expansion and collaboration. The future of Ankara lies in the hands of the next generation. Young innovators are reimagining what Ankara can be, blending tradition with modernity and driving the industry forward. Ankara is more than just a fabric. It symbolizes African heritage, creativity, and resilience. As we look to the future, the potential for Ankara is limitless if the industry embraces innovation, sustainability, and global collaboration. The journey of Ankara is far from over, and its story will continue to inspire generations. As we conclude our journey through the vibrant world of Ankara, we turn our attention to the future. What lies ahead for this iconic fabric? How will it evolve to meet the demands of a rapidly changing world? And what opportunities and challenges will shape its future? Questions you may have quality answers for. See you again on another interesting topic on Souq Perspective. I am Grace Komolafe.
Dr. Souq A. Adedeji, whose leadership has significantly transformed Nigeria's tax administration, is a distinguished first-class graduate in accounting from the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and he currently serves as the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS.
I firmly believe in the wisdom encapsulated in the statements. Revenue growth is the lifeblood of a nation's economy, providing means to fulfill essential duties to its citizens. These words capture the core principle that will guide us as we navigate the challenging terrain ahead, ensuring that our nation thrives and fulfills its obligation to its citizens. In our pursuit of greater fiscal future, we are determined to align ourselves with President Bola Tinubu's Extreme Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee. This collaboration will enable us to shape a prosperous fiscal landscape that will empower our nation's growth and development.
Born on January 8, 1978 in Ogbomoso, Oyo State, Nigeria, Dr. Adedeji is an accomplished accountant and public officer with extensive expertise in corporate taxation and public finance. His journey in public service began in 2011 when he was appointed as Commissioner for Finance in Oyo State. In that capacity, Adedeji introduced transformative financial reforms, most notably the establishment of the Treasury Single Account (TSA) to streamline government revenues and expenditures. In March 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari appointed Adedeji as Executive Secretary of the National Sugar Development Council (NSCDC). In this capacity, he founded the Nigeria Sugar Institute and spearheaded the Sugar Backward Integration Program, which sought to enhance local sugar production and reduce reliance on foreign imports. In June 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appointed Adedeji as Special Advisor on Revenue, and by September of that same year, he had ascended to the position of Executive Chairman of FIRS, Nigeria's leading tax authority responsible for the assessment, collection, and management of federal taxes.
The focus will be on these indirect taxes, so that as long as you consume, you have to pay. As long as you have interest on your investment, you have to pay. And this is echoing Mr. President's message that we are not going to tax the seed, but we are going to tax the fruit. The fruit is what we focus on. So all those things, when we have this holistic process, it will be captured, and that the vision is to have a progressive tax, that if you earn more, you pay more. And if you earn less, you will not pay.
Under his leadership, FIRS exceeded its 2023 revenue target of 11.55 trillion naira. As chairman of FIRS, Dr. Adedeji implemented a performance-based system aligning with the service's new slogan, simplifying tax, maximizing revenue.
Dr. Souq Adedeji has done incredibly well in transforming and reforming the tax processes and procedures in Nigeria. In a little over a year being at the helm of the affairs of the tax body in Nigeria, we have seen a significant improvement in revenue generation. His policy of not crumbling business with taxation is something that also needs to be applauded. Souq Adedeji's philosophy is taxing fruits and not the seed, and taxing prosperity, not poverty. Because if you look at the fiscal landscape of Nigeria in the past 10 years, you find that businesses have struggled to live, and that has led to the exit of so many businesses from Nigeria. But with this new reform, we're seeing that the businesses will profit from the reform processes, and that will mean more business for Nigeria. We will have a lot of foreign inflow in terms of foreign direct investment that will actually drive the process of economic growth for the country. And I think he has done so well, and he deserves a kudos, especially for taking the giant stride to restructure FRS for efficiency, for accountability, and for value for money.
He has also made the welfare of the staff a top priority, fostering a positive working environment that has brought smiles to the faces of FIRS employees nationwide. Supporters of the tax reform bills highlight several key benefits, harping on the need for streamlined tax processes that could reduce bureaucratic hurdles and foster an environment where businesses can thrive.
He has initiated a lot of reform which dovetail into the tax reform bills that is before the National Assembly. This initiative is to improve on the tax administration system in Nigeria with a view to improving on the collection systems that will be beneficial to every member of the Nigerian state. Souq, as is well known, has improved on simplifying tax reform even within the federal land revenue, which in no means has improved on tax administration, and he celebrated essentially for the core initiative of the tax reform.
Under Dr. Adedeji's leadership, Nigeria's tax system has gone beyond mere policy adjustments. Its focus is on fostering sustainable growth and ensuring that the benefits of tax reforms reach both businesses and citizens.
So those that are attacking the bill, one, they are doing that in view of the formula they discovered, which may not be, will not augur well for them when the bad allocation. And then secondly, they may be having the feeling that this law was just designed to favor Lagos State in the course of its own effort to become a state that has special status. Okay? It says so that will make it to be seen as if it is a country of its own, even though it's not up to the level of country, but it is higher than all other states in the country. Probably this may be the reason why they are agitating. The one that you can see clearly is on this issue of VAT. And then they have other suspicion. So that is another worry that I have. The issue of trust. Trust, what do some experts call trust deficit. Yes, will be promoted greatly by this if corrective measures are not taken. Graduation has not been defined. But then people have to go by what is happening now. As they go against it. Since now the graduation is about contribution of state that are producing these goods and services being consumed. So they have the right to just say that, oh, so now instead of 20%, it will now be 60%. And then you hear the government functionaries, including members of the committee, saying that no, that's not what they mean. They mean area of consumption. This 60% graduation is about consumption area, not location of the headquarters of company that produce the good or services. You should have defined that in the law.
Contributing to long-term national development, Dr. Souq A. Adedeji's career is a testament of his unwavering commitment to improving Nigeria's financial systems and enhancing revenue generation, showcasing his exceptional expertise in corporate and public finance.
drop makes a hole in a stone, not by force, but by consistent dripping. Nothing describes this woman more apt than her indomitable and consistent drive for excellence. Born Bilikisu Abiodun Moturayo Omobalanle Adekola on December 24, 1962, into the family of Alhaji Abdulmoshood Adekola, the first grandson of the first Alhaji in the city of Ibadan, and a Cameroonian mother, Mrs. Hannah Aduke Adekola, in the ancient city of Ibadan, Oyo State. While her mother was still pregnant with her, left for England to further his education. And while she was pretty much young, her mother left the country to go join her husband, to return while she was 8 years. Meanwhile, she was left to be cared for by her grandmother. She was registered in a private boarding primary school at the age of 4.
My parents had me. My father went off to England to go to school before I was born. He left my mother pregnant with me. My mother had me, and before I was a year old, left to join her husband in England, and I was left with my grandmother. I grew up with my grandmother before my parents came back like 8 years after. Spent my first, from about age 4 or 5, I was sent into a boarding nursery school. I lived in boarding school at a very early age because my parents wanted to protect me from becoming a local Ibadan girl.
And she usually attributes these to her early independence and wisdom. Omo Agbanimi, some of her friends sometimes poke fun at her wisdom, which is way beyond her age.
I was raised by my grandmother, so I'm a bit of an old woman in my brain, in how I think, as my friends say.
Her foray into business started at a very young age at her grandmother's shop where she sells salt. Little did she know that this was going to stand her in good stead in life.
My first exposure to business was my grandmother's little shop where she sold salt. And I used to love to sit behind her little kiosk and help her to sell the salt. But who knew I was being trained for business in my future?
While at secondary school, she participated in the literary debating group, excelling in it, which made her consider a career in law, though that didn't last. Also, it is worthy of note that Ibukun Awoshika could hold her own in athletics, earning her the nickname Rabbit because she could really run.
As an athlete, if you want to run, and I used to be fast, they used to call me the Rabbit.
Unsure of what career path she was going to settle for, she considered becoming many things at one point or the other of her life. After secondary school, she thought of becoming a medical doctor, but she couldn't stand the sight of a cadaver, so she let go of that idea. Later on, architecture was another fancy that caught her attention. Similarly, she also considered becoming a chartered accountant. Finally, only see she could work in a bank.
I thought I wanted to be a doctor. Then I found out that they work with real dead bodies. I changed my mind very quickly. I then thought, you know what? I'd like to be an architect. I was good in sciences and had a problem if parents sentence you to science when you're good at both. So I ended up in Ife to study chemistry. By the end of my first year, I realized how much I hated chemistry. I could pass it, but I didn't love it. So then I thought, you know, I'd make a good lawyer. I debated throughout school. I used to represent my school in school's debate. So everybody knows that I can win an argument. So I gave it everything trying to change to law. I used to go and sit outside the door of the dean of law. And then one day the man said, come, what do you want? I want to change to law. Is that why you've been sitting outside of my office? Yes, sir. Okay, if I only take one person from another department next year, it will be you.
After the completion of her undergraduate degree at the University of Ife, she went for the compulsory one-year National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) in Kano State, where she worked as an audit trainee at Akintola Williamson Co., which later became Deloitte.
For youth service, I did everything to make sure they sent me to an accounting firm. They first sent me to a Muslim school to go and teach. That was easy to solve. I just wore a dress off my shoulder. I went to report. I was immediately rejected. Once they rejected me, I went back to the posting room and waited there for days until they sent me to Akintola Williams & Co.
Although she was later given full employment after her service year, she felt becoming an accountant wasn't a thing.
You would have thought that having gone through all that trouble, accounting would be the love of my life. When I got there, within the 1 year of my youth service, I realized how boring accounting is to me. Because they had all the processes somebody else had thought about before. All I had to do was open old dusty files from company to company without imagination or initiative. I'm a very restless human being. That was not going to work. So I finished the work. I did well. They offered me permanent employment, but I said, thank you, but no thank you. Why? Because at that moment, I had come to a realization that that was not the vision for my life.
After returning home, she joined Alibert Nigeria Limited, a furniture company, as showroom manager, in a word, only to kill time. She only stayed for 3.5 months. She left to begin a furniture manufacturing company called Quibis Limited in 1989, just months before her 26th birthday. The company later grew into Souq Chair Center Limited, following a venture merger with Souq SA and Guarantee Trust Bank in 2004.
But the first job I could find 1 week after was in a furniture company. So I went there to kill time. My kill time project has resulted in 30 years of investment of my life in building a manufacturing group in furniture. So it was never the plan of my life. So some of you will accidentally find your purpose.
One could only wonder what had led her not only to compete, but to thrive in a male-dominated terrain. With over 30 years in business, Ibukun Awoshika is a woman to reckon with, encouraging more women to participate in the business terrain. Her passion to see the girl child not just to be educated, but much more to learn to own our own value and trade with it when there is need for it. Her lifelong ambition is to see herself die empty.
My biggest ambition in life is to die empty. Totally empty. That no talents, no giftings, no opportunities, nothing that I was born to do, that I have the capacity to do, that I do not do.
Following her remarkable achievements, she's been conferred with different doctorates, including one in business, entrepreneurship and human capacity development from the Lagos State University, Ojo. Similarly, she was given a honorary doctorate of business administration from the Obafemi Awolowo University and another from the Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwoye, Ogun State. Apart from our entrepreneurial prowess, Ibukun Awoshika is an ordained minister of the gospel, a presenter, writer, and a TV host.
The Bible tells us that let every man be what? A liar. And let who alone be true? Let God alone be true.
She hosts a television program called Business His Way. Also, she acted in the 2020 Kunle Afolayan movie titled Citation, which in addition to the books she had written, including Business His Way, The Girl Entrepreneur, The Girls in the Boardroom, and My Thoughts in Codes. In 2004, she earned a certification in Business Administration and Management from the IESE Business School. She's also the chairperson of the Novel Nigeria Office for Philanthropy and Impact Investment. She has consistently encouraged women to take up more leadership positions without compromising their values and integrity. In 2005, she was appointed the MD CEO of Souq SA of France. GTB PLC, the Chair Center Limited, and some local investors after the ban of the importation of furniture by the federal government of Nigeria in 2004. Furthermore, it is noteworthy to note that she independently established another ultra-modern furniture facility, Furniture Manufacturers Mart in Ikeja, Lagos. In 2008, she was among 5 Nigerian entrepreneurs who appeared in the first African version of the Dragon's Den. Unlike a great deal of others who knew exactly what they wanted to do from the beginning, she admitted to accidentally finding purpose. Ibukun Awoshika is a member of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, a member of the board of Nigerian Sovereign Wealth Fund, a former chairperson of the Board of Trustees of Women in Management, Business and Public Service, and a member of the IESC's International Advisory Board. Furthermore, she sits on the board of Digital Jewelry Limited and Cabri Nigeria PLC. Additionally, she's a fellow of the African Leadership Initiative and Aspen Global Leadership Network. History was made on the 7th day of September 2015. Following the resignation of Prince Ajibola Afonja, she became the first female chair of the First Bank of Nigeria in its 126 years of existence. Ibukun Awoshika's Octo-Nigerian father, Abdul Moshood Adekola, who was a great influence in her life, passed on the 20th April 2020 after serving the Lord as an usher at the Fountain of Life Church in Ilupeju. He was a Muslim convert. He was converted few days before his 60th birthday. She got married on her 28th birthday to Abiodun Awoshika, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Excel Exploration and Production Company Limited, and they are blessed with 3 fine young men, Oludola, Olufishika, and Olamiposi. To celebrate a life of impact at 60, friends and mentees surprised Awoshika by building the Ibukun Awoshika Sports Center at our beloved secondary school, Methodist Girls High School, Yaba, Lagos. This project took about 6 months to complete and had some of our mentees like Tara Durutoye, Ndidi Okuanu, Chichi Nwoko, and Bisola Runsewe. They marshaled it alongside a team of other successful people. She stands like Joshua upon the pinnacle of the Horeb, looking to command an army of a new generation of women entrepreneurs that wouldn't stop at anything to achieving their God-given dreams. For her, she believes that regardless of how illustrious her career is and how successful she could ever get in life, her family and husband remain the most important gift in her life. Ibukun Awoshika.
The world of business is one filled with men and women willing to dine with risk. And when we seek African business shapers, we see individuals who have denied self to build conglomerates. From controlling over 90% of diesel trade in Nigeria to almost throwing in the towel, then getting on the Forbes list, we present Olufemi Peter Otedola. The Nigerian businessman and philanthropist was born in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, on the 4th of November 1962, into the family of late Sir Michael Otedola, the governor of Lagos State from 1992 to 1993. The University of Lagos Staff School, Akuka, welcomed Olufemi for his primary education and secondary education at Olivet Baptist High School, Oyo. Olufemi proceeded to Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife, for his first degree, graduated and joined the family printing press business, working hard and gaining experience. Femi Otedola ventured out starting Centreforce Limited. The company focused on finance, investment and trading. The oil and gas sector was Femi Otedola's next port of call. From quite a very humble beginning in the oil and gas sector, utilizing the connections and networks of family and friends, he cultivated partnerships in diesel supply chain, him being the last man to the final consumer. Challenges breed opportunities, and in Femi's case, it was a late delivery of diesel from his supplier with a broken truck, and he caught the idea. He could do better and provide better services. He ventured into diesel supply business, buying diesel from a retailer and supplying to companies. Femi Otedola encountered several difficulties securing his supply and timely meeting the demands of his growing clients. This definitely was an opportunity he identified in the fuel retail market. Otedola secured the finance, and Zenon Petroleum and Gas Limited was born, petroleum products marketing and distribution company. Otedola, owner and chairman of Zenon, in 2004 invested 15 billion naira in downstream infrastructure development and acquired storage depots at Ibadan, Apapa, as well as 4 cargo vessels, amounting to a combined total storage capacity of 147,000 metric tons. Zenon Petroleum and Gas Limited also acquired a fleet of 100 DAF fuel tanker trucks. By 2005, Zenon controlled a major share of the Nigerian diesel market, supplying fuel to most of the major manufacturers in the country, including Dangote Group, Cadbury, Coca-Cola, Nigerian Breweries, MTN, Unilever, Nestle, and Guinness. Zenon Petroleum and Gas was the name on major invoices and Femi Otedola the name on every lips, playing toe-to-toe with major multinationals. Zenon, in a very short period, silenced the competition and almost unilaterally determined the price of diesel in Nigeria. The competitors came to Zenon for supply. Femi Otedola, with the massive success Zenon Petroleum and Gas achieved, bought a 28.7% stake in African Petroleum. Otedola branched into the financial sector and aggressively stocked up the shares of leading financial houses. He became a top shareholder in Zenith Bank, United Bank for Africa, and the largest importer of diesel in Nigeria. He acquired major shares of Africa's Finance Corporation, Mobile Oil Nigeria Limited, Chevron Texaco, and Visa Phone. Otedola has his hands deep in real estate investments, including an acquisition in February 2007 by Zenon of Sterling House in Victoria Island, Lagos from the federal government. Lagos, London, Dubai, Monaco all have the signatures of FO Property Limited. He was appointed chairman of the Transcorp Hilton Hotel Abuja and tasked with driving its expansion and upgraded to a 7-star facility. Otedola has served as a member of the Nigerian Investment Promotion Council since 2004, was appointed by President Goodluck Jonathan to Nigeria's National Economic Management Team. Otedola is chief executive and president of the Seaforth Shipping Company Limited and was at one point Nigeria's largest ship owner after extending control over the distribution of diesel products. One of his ships, a flat-bottom bunker vessel with a storage capacity of 16,000 metric tons, was the first of its kind in Africa. In January 2006, Otedola was appointed a non-executive director of Transnational Corporation of Nigeria PLC, a multi-sectoral conglomerate established in 2004 by then President Olusegun Obasanjo to respond to market opportunities requiring heavy capital investment in Nigeria and across sub-Saharan Africa. He held this post until February 2011. Otedola was appointed chairman and chief executive of African Petroleum in 2007 through the acquisition of controlling stake in the business. Following Otedola's entry into the company, African Petroleum's share price rose sharply, increasing the market capitalization from 36 billion to 217 billion naira in 6 months. In March 2009, Otedola became the second Nigerian after Aliko Dangote to appear on the Forbes list of dollar-denominated billionaires with an estimated net worth of $1.2 billion. Otedola announced a move to upgrade African Petroleum's liquefied petroleum gas storage terminals in Lagos, Kano, and Port Harcourt in October 2009. Harsh economic conditions necessitated by the slump in the oil prices and credit squeeze of 2008-09 led African Petroleum to record a loss in 2009. With the world oil price crash came difficult moments for Zenon and Otedola. He was very close to complete bankruptcy.
I said to myself, I was not going to have friends and enemies. I was going to have only competitors. I had two options: commit suicide or weather the storm.
African Petroleum, rebranded in December 2010, changed its name to Fort Oil PLC. Otedola paid his near $1 billion debt and invested in the financial industry, making him a top shareholder in Zenith Bank and United Bank for Africa. Otedola restructured the business, focusing on technology and improved corporate governance, and in 2012, Fort Oil returned to profit. Otedola financed 57% of Fort Oil subsidiary, Amperion Limited, which acquired the 414 megawatt Girigu power plant for $232 million in 2013. Fort Oil improved financial position and diversification into power generation resulted in a 1,321% rise in its share price. The first half of 2014 saw the company's pre-tax profit more than double year-on-year to 4.1 billion naira. Revenue growth for the whole year was 33%. Fort Oil sold 70% of its equity to Swiss commodity trader Mercuria Energy Group in September 2015, giving Fort access to global commodity markets. The deal was thought to have given Otedola an estimated $200 million. In 2019, Femi Otedola sold Fort Oil PLC and announced plans to change focus from oil to power with his company, Girigu Power PLC. Girigu Power PLC became the first power generation company to list on Nigerian Stock Exchange, demonstrating to stakeholders in the sector how they can fix financing and make profits sustainably. The company's market capitalization is now 726.75 billion naira, and the share price now 290.7 naira from the 2.5 billion shares that were listed at 100 naira each. Otedola, the chairman of Girigu Power, sold down a Girigu stake to bring on institutional investors. In October 2021, Femi Otedola was announced as the single largest shareholder of First Bank PLC. FBN Holdings, the parent company of First Bank Limited, witnessed a commendable 437.9 billion naira surge in market capitalization. FBN Holdings appointed billionaire Femi Otedola as the new chairman of its board of directors, effective January 31st, 2024. Femi Otedola has had its share of controversies. Zenon was among a number of companies named in an alleged fuel subsidy scam report. This was followed by a case against Farouk Lawan for bribery. Otedola has also lost in the ever-evolving competing space of business acquisitions. Transcorp and Huheli Power Plant are two notable projects he closely bidded and lost. Femi Otedola philanthropy is quite remarkable. Otedola made a 300 million naira donation to the completion of the National Ecumenical Center in Abuja. In 2007, he gave 200 million to the State Security Trust Fund in a drive to reduce crime in Lagos. Donated 100 million naira to the Otedola College of Primary Education in Ekpe. In 2008, he donated 80 million to the Faculty of Agriculture at the University of Port Harcourt. Femi Otedola pledged and redeemed $25,000 to the Super Eagles in the match against Algeria in 2019 AFCON. He gave all 750 students of Augustine University 1 million naira each. Femi Otedola sits comfortably on the Forbes billionaires list of top 20 richest people in Africa. Femi Otedola is married to Mrs. Nana Otedola and have 4 children: Olawumi Christy Tolani, Florence Ifeoluwa, Elizabeth Temi, and Fewa Otedola. Olufemi Peter Otedola is a standout astute business executive.
welcome to the news update on Souq News Television this Wednesday morning, where we'll be bringing you stories from Nigeria and across the world. I am Grace Komalafe. And we'll start with the story. The federal government has listed its April 2025 savings bonds worth 4.3 billion naira on the Nigerian Exchange Limited. The listing happened on Tuesday and was announced in a market report by NJX Regulation Limited. Two types of bonds were listed. One will last 2 years and the other 3 years. The 2-year bond will end in April 2027 and has a 16.046% interest rate. It raised 1.13 billion naira with over 1.1 million units sold. The 3-year bond ends in April 2028 and has a 17.046% interest rate. It raised 3.2 billion naira with over 3.2 million units sold. People who buy the bonds will get interest payments over every 16th and 7th July, October, January, and April. And away from that, the federal government has shared 3 key steps to reduce irregular migration from Africa to Europe. This was announced by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Professor Nentawa Yowada, during the Rabat process meeting in Abuja. Nigeria, which became chair of the Rabat process in January 2025, hosted the meeting with over 100 delegates from 57 countries. The government's 3 main steps are building digital skill centers and running migration education programs across Africa and Europe, creating a single clear migration policy to promote safe travel, and funding youth-led businesses while helping returnees start again. Professor Yowada said most Nigerians migrate legally, but the government is working to reduce unsafe journeys. Spain and the European Union also promised to support Nigeria with awareness programs and safe migration plans. And now the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulation Commission, NUPRC, says the first shipment of Obodo crude oil has been made. NUPRC Chair Executive Benga Komalafe said this on Tuesday in a statement. He praised Conoil Producing Limited for making the shipment possible. He said this is a big step for Nigeria's oil sector. It shows that Nigerian oil companies are growing and adding more to the country's oil exports. Komalafe said Obodo crude adds to the types of oil Nigeria sells. He also says that this will help increase oil production, bring in more money, and attract investors. He also said that success comes from working together with the Nigerian National Petroleum Company under a production sharing deal. Komalafe noted the NUPRC that they will continue to support local oil companies and make Nigeria's oil sector better for investors. The Obodo crude is a medium sweet blend and it's expected to be sold at a similar price as the Bonga crude. And in Lagos, the State Commissioner for Housing, Maruf Akinderu Fatai, has said that housing projects in the state gave 8,287 people jobs in 2024. He said these on Tuesday during a press briefing to mark Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's second year in office. He added that in the last 6 years, housing work has created jobs for 13,749 people in Lagos. This includes skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled workers. Also, 28,507 households have benefited from state's housing estates and as of December 2024. To improve job quality, the ministry trained over 500 artisans in skills like plumbing, carpentry, and painting. They were given certificates, tools, and work gear. The commissioner said the ministry also helped recover 295 million naira and 20 properties for people through peaceful dispute settlements. Out of 1,899 due estate cases received, 1,243 were resolved, while 8 are still in the court. Moving ahead, the Federal Ministry of Works has announced the closure of Ijora Marina Bridge in Apapa, Lagos, starting from Sunday 18th May 2025 at 7 a.m. The bridge will be fully closed in some sections and partially closed in others for 21 days. The closure is part of a project to improve road safety and make the drive smoother. Workers will lift the bridge to fix damaged parts and carry out other repairs. Traffic will be diverted and safety measures like signs and control will be set up. The public is asked to plan ahead and be patient during the closure. The ministry thanks everyone for their understanding on this job. And that's it on the news update this morning on Souq News Television. On behalf of the news team, we say many thanks for watching. Do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at Souq News TV. Yes, Just Africa is coming up next, and that will be by Olumide and Priye. Please stay tuned. I am Grace Komalafe. Have a blessed morning.
According to the former UBA Group Managing Director, Mr. Kennedy Uzoka, he's a man that knows it all. Also, another described him as an encyclopedia of knowledge. The both are now farther from the truth of a man whose career has spanned over 4 decades, being part of a dozen organizations in both the banking and manufacturing sectors. Serving in different capacities as either a director, board member, or chairman of organizations such as Honeywell Flour Mills PLC, PZ Cussons PLC, Nigerian Breweries PLC, and United Bank for Africa PLC. In the same vein, he also had some link with the British American Tobacco Nigerian Foundation and Nutrisima Limited. He was once the president of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, where he clamored for the patronization of local content by all well-meaning Nigerians. Also, he served as chairman of the former Universal Trust Bank PLC UTB before the administration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo implemented the recapitalization of banks in Nigeria. Born Kolawole Babalola Jamodu on February 9, 1944 in Odo Ere, Yagba West local government area of the present Kogi State. Kola Jamodu attended St. Paul's Primary School in City College from 1958 to 1961. Harvard Business School, Boston, Massachusetts, United States of America from 1986 to 1987. His mother was Mrs. Fumi Olabinwonu. Not much was known about his father. At an early age, Kolawole showed an uncanny drive for knowledge and learning, which will form a greater part of his adult life. His rise to fame hasn't been without its peculiar episodes of challenges. He started his career with the United African Company of Nigeria, UACN, in 1962. 3 years later, he moved to Lever Brothers Nigeria Limited, now Unilever Nigeria PLC, and in 1965 where he received many years of experience of over 10 years in production, commerce, and finance. He later joined PZ Customs Group in 1975 as a group accountant. Chief Kolawole Jamodu, for many who work closely with him, is a go-getter, both in the business arena and an exemplary leader in achieving the corporate governance with a litany of portfolios in diverse sectors. He's a trailblazer practically in many areas. He was the first Nigerian to be appointed as Group Finance Director at PZ. In 1980, he was appointed Chairman, PZ Nigeria Limited, then a trading subsidiary of the PZ Group, while still holding his position as a PZ Group Financial Director. In 1987, he became the first Nigerian Deputy Group Chief Executive, and in 1990, he became the first Nigerian Group Chief Executive of PZ Customs. Still in 1990, he was appointed Chairman of PZ Customs PLC, becoming the first Nigerian to combine the positions of a Chairman and Chief Executive. He, in 1999, after he had served in that capacity for many years, meritoriously retired but remained on the PZ Board of Directors as Chairman in a non-executive capacity. Known for his strategic touch of class, Take Two, although his first appointment as Executive Chairman of PZ Customs was interrupted by his appointment as Minister of Industry in 2001, when PZ went through a tumultuous season in 2013, when revenue nosedived and profit hemorrhaged. Kola Jamodu was on every shareholder's lips, underscoring the confidence reposed in his ability to provide effective leadership hitherto wanting for the company at that time. Known for his knack for having the right strategy to grow business in a difficult market. In his capacity as Chairman of Nigerian Breweries PLC, Kola Jamodu led the strategic investment and acquisition that have enabled Nigerian breweries seize key markets from competitors, positioning the company to maintain leading market share, moderate operating costs, and grow wealth for shareholders. In 2014, Nigerian Breweries acquired Consolidated Breweries Limited, with which sales revenue grew by 10% in 2015, even as the total brewed market declined. The company saved cost and defend profit drop in 2015. Jamodu also served as Chairman of Universal Trust Bank PLC, a Director in Ashaka Cement, and a Director in Honeywell Flour Mills PLC. And also, he's been a Director of United Bank of Africa since 2007. He's a Fellow of Chartered Institute of Accounting, Nigeria, Fellow of Chartered Institute of Management Accounts, London, and Fellow of Chartered Institute of Secretaries. The name Jamodu trumpets loud and clear in Nigeria's boardroom leadership, owing to his dedicated work and great accomplishments in building businesses. Jamodu has only been a seeker of new challenges, set to brave and break new grounds. Our key takeaways from his tenure as minister highlighted the introduction of various innovative backward integration policies that enabled self-sufficiency in the production of goods like cement and other staples. These moves led to increased foreign direct investment, job creations, and a major boost to national economy and GDP. Dr. Jamodu, after a hiatus from the private sector, was appointed to numerous board positions with reputable multinational companies in Nigeria. For a start, he was reappointed Chairman of United Bank for Africa PLC as a non-executive director in 2007. It's worth of note to say that in 2006, Dr. Jamodu was appointed to the board of Nigerian Breweries PLC as a non-executive director and later moved to become chairman in 2008, where he served 17 years meritoriously, spending 15 of those years as board chairman, and on April 30, 2023, retired as chairman of the organization, leaving a legacy of growth, innovation, and continuous success. Under his watch, the Nigerian breweries grew in leaps and bounds, strengthened its brand presence, and continued to drive positive change in the Nigerian breweries sector.
What was achieved during my period was a joint effort, because you can't say a leader if there are no followers. There are committees, and these committees are made of members of man.
Chief Dr. Kola Jamodu is a recipient of several national honors, including Member of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, MFR, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, CFR. Also, he is a recipient of the National Productivity Merit Award, NPMA. Additionally, he is a Chartered Global Management Accountant, CGMA, a Fellow of the Chartered Institute of Management, London, and Fellow of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators. He is also a Distinguished Fellow of the Institute of Directors, Nigeria. During his 4-year stint at the helms of affairs in the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, he served in different capacities like the National Treasurer, Chairman of the Economic Policy Committee, Chairman of the Policy Advocacy Committee, Vice President, and later President from 2010 to 2014. Also, he is the past president of the Harvard Business School Alumni Association of Nigeria, a former president of the Chemical and Non-Metallic Products Employees Foundation, and an honorary member of the Nigerian Industrial Policy and Competitiveness Advisory Council, chaired by the Nigeria's Vice President. He's also served in various capacities such as Member of Council at the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, Member of Council at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI, and Distinguished Member of the Board of Fellows of the Nigerian Institute of Management, NIM. He is an active member of Ikoyi Club 1938, Lagos Island Club, Lagos Metropolitan Club, Lagos Motor Boat Club, Moderates Club, and Lagos Dining Club, some of Nigeria's most prestigious social organizations. Not many people, prominent or otherwise, could be suitably described as detribalized nationalists like Dr. Kola Jamodu, whose great likeness for all and sundry cultures and tongues, coupled with his numerous contributions to the growth and development of various communities nationwide, earned him several chieftaincy titles such as Ashiwaju of Ere Kingdom in Kogi State, Are Apashewa of Ere Land, also in Kogi State, Babalaja of Lagos, Boba Gunwa of Ere Land, Kogi State, Maye Bobajiro of Ibadan Land, Oyo State, Barakoyi of Oshobo Land, Osun State, Mayegun of Ayetoro, Bede, Kogi State, Fiwajoye of Mulipa, Jebu-Ode, Ogun State, Ikimba one of Oba Nsuka, Ari of Eruku Land, Kwara State. Jamodu is nothing short of a legend. Although with limited experience in partisan politics, he stood tall and stepped into the plate when occasion presented itself in Kogi State, when he took leadership of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) as minister, serving in the cabinet of the ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo. In the middle of 2020, Chief Dr. Kola Jamodu served as the pioneer chairman of the Elders Advisory Committee (EAC) of Pan-Okun Relief Response Agenda, which played a pivotal role when the world was faced with the coronavirus. mobilizing resources to provide relief materials for the entire Okun people, as well as address various issues relating to the pandemic in the land. Here, through the Kola Jamodu Foundation, KJF scholarships are provided to several poor students through all levels of education, primary, secondary, and tertiary levels, medical support to indigents who have genuine medical conditions but couldn't afford to foot the bill. Chief Kola Babalola Jamodu, over the years, his hobbies have been the same: reading, traveling, golf, and badminton. He is married to his sweetheart, Olori Asiwaju of Ere Kingdom, Chief Mrs. Fumilayo Jamodu, and they are blessed with children and grandchildren. Chief Dr. Kola Babalola Jamodu.
Wole Soyinka, born Akiwande Oluwole Babatunde Soyinka on July 13, 1934, in Abeokuta, Ogun State, southwest Nigeria, stands as one of Africa's most celebrated literary figures and a global icon of resistance against oppression. His life and works reflect an unwavering commitment to justice, culture, and the transformative power of arts. Soyinka was born into a Yoruba family in colonial Nigeria, an environment that exposed him to both traditional African culture and Western education. His father, Samuel Ayodele Soyinka, was a school headmaster, while his mother, Grace Eniola Soyinka, was a devoted Anglican. This blend of indigenous and colonial influences deeply shaped Soyinka's world. Soyinka attended Government College Ibadan and later proceeded to the University College Ibadan, where he studied English and literature. Soyinka completed his education at the University of Leeds in England, earning a degree in English and later a doctorate degree. In the late 1950s, Soyinka began working as a dramaturgist at the Royal Court Theatre in London. However, his passion for storytelling and cultural preservation drew him back to Nigeria, where he founded two theatre groups known as the 1960 Masque and the Orisun Theatre Company. Soyinka's works, often a fusion of Western dramatic techniques and African themes, address universal issues of justice, freedom, and human dignity. His early play, titled A Dance of the Forest, which was introduced in 1960, written to celebrate Nigeria's independence, critically examined the nation's socio-political trajectory, setting the tone for his career as both artist and activist. Soyinka's activism became more visible during Nigeria's post-independence years. In 1967, during the Nigerian Civil War, he called for a ceasefire between federal forces and Biafran separatists. This led to his arrest by the military government, and he spent 22 months in prison, where he wrote a short drama titled The Man Died, Prison Notes, a harrowing account of his imprisonment and a profound critique of authoritarianism. Soyinka has authored more than 20 works, including plays, novels, poetry, and essays. In 1986, Soyinka became the first African to win the Nobel Prize of Literature, an achievement that brought global recognition to African literature. Soyinka remained an outspoken critic of oppressive regimes, often at great personal risk. His activism extended beyond Nigeria, addressing global issues of injustice and human rights. During periods of military rule in Nigeria, he went into exile, continuing to write and speak against tyranny. Today, Soyinka is celebrated not only as a literary giant, but also as a symbol of resilience and moral courage.
When we talk about South Sudan, Africa's youngest nation, having gained independence in 2011, we often focus on its political journey or natural resources. But there's something else that holds deep generational value in South Sudanese lives, which is cows. In South Sudan, cows aren't just animals, they are everything. They are currency, they are status, they are identity. Among groups like the Dinka and Nuer, a man's wealth isn't measured in cash, it's counted in cows. Cows pay dowries, settle disputes, mark the birth of a child, and even the death of an elder. Boys grow up in cattle camps, learning not just to herd, but to lead. Songs are written about prize bulls. People name themselves after their cows. It's love, not ownership. And no, they don't eat them. Not casually. Cows are sacred. They are milked, admired, and even mourned. Only in rare ceremonies, funerals, farming, or great misfortune is a cow killed for food. To eat one is to part with a piece of your soul. I'm Moyosore Adibi for Just Africa, only on Souq News TV.
Anthony Onyemaechi Elumelu was born on the 22nd of March 1963 in Jos, North Central Nigeria, to Susanna and Dominic Elumelu, originally from Delta State. Tony earned a degree in economics from Ambrose Ali University, where he laid the foundation for his future career, and then furthered his education at the University of Lagos, where he obtained a master's degree in economics. His academic journey also includes attending the Harvard Business School, where he completed the Owner of President Management program, equipping him with advanced business management skills. Tony currently serves as the chairman of Heirs Holdings, Transcorp, and United Bank for Africa, UBA, demonstrating his significant influence in the banking and investment sector. He founded the Tony Elumelu Foundation, which aims to empower African entrepreneurs through comprehensive training, mentorships, and funding opportunities. In addition to his professional achievements, he's also a family man, married to Dr. Adele Vivian Elumelu, and together they have 7 children. In 2020, his efforts were acknowledged when he was named one of Time's 100 most influential people in the world. Anthony Elumelu's net worth is estimated to be around $700 million, a testament to his successful ventures and strategic investments. Elumelu continues to be a driving force in the business world, advocating for sustainable economic growth and empowering the next generation of African entrepreneurs.
Known as the father of African literature, Chinua Achebe was born on the 16th of November 1930 in Ogidi, now Anambra State, eastern Nigeria. He was born to Isaiah Okafor Achebe, a teacher and an evangelist, and Janet Anenichi Ilegunam, a vegetable farmer. Achebe has reshaped the global understanding of African identity through the power of storytelling. Raised during the twilight of colonial rule, Achebe's education was steeped in both Igbo tradition and the Western values of post-colonial Christianity. As a student at the University of Ibadan, he became fiercely critical of how Africa was portrayed in Western literature. Achebe believed that Western literature often painted Africa as a dark and primitive continent, but he sought to tell the African people's lens. In 1958, Achebe's groundbreaking novel Things Fall Apart shattered colonial narratives through the tragic story of Okonkwo, an Igbo warrior. Achebe illuminated the complexities of African culture and the devastating effects of European colonization. Things Fall Apart became more than just a novel. It became a symbol of African resistance against the oppressive narratives of colonialism. Achebe was not just a writer. He was a passionate advocate for African self-determination, and his political activism made him a critical voice in the post-colonial era. Even after a life marked by personal and political struggles, including a car accident that left him partially paralyzed, Achebe continued to inspire. He taught at Bard College, and later Brown University, where his influence reached new generations of writers and thinkers. He was married to Christiana Chinwe Okoli, and they had 4 children. Sadly, he died in March 2013 at the age of 82. Chinua Achebe's legacy endures in his novels, his essays, and in the countless voices of African writers who follow in his footsteps. He gave us a voice, a story, and a vision of Africa that is ours to share.
Idumota Market. Eko Idumota, once a residential neighborhood, is home to Idumota Market located on Lagos Island. It is one of the oldest and arguably one of the largest markets in West Africa. Idumota is a historic neighborhood adjacent to the Lagos port that facilitated the slave trade, and later, under the British indirect rule, it surrounded to exports that fueled the colonial enterprise. Idumota was also a cenotaph called Soja Idumota, built as a monument to Nigerian soldiers who served with the West African Frontier Force. An Eyo Masquerade statue and a clock tower are also some monuments at Idumota. Idumota Market is so popular that large sales are recorded as early as 7 a.m. The market is made up of hundreds of locked-up shops occupying several multi-story buildings, with some measuring about 5 or more floors. In 2010, the Lagos State government demolished some illegal structures in order to improve vehicular and human movement in and around the markets. During weekdays, the neighborhood of Idumota is densely populated by shoppers, traders, and bus passengers. From the Carter Bridge ascending into Lagos Island, passengers can see the neighborhood before disembarking at their final destination. Idumota Market accommodates the substantial inflow of imported goods. The bulk of import from abroad are routed first through Idumota and then on to other markets through Nigeria and other West and Central African countries. The energy of private Idumota traders and wholesalers facilitate this activity, where millions of US dollars worth of wholesale is exchanged daily. Idumota Market, Souq Enlightenment.
A very good morning to you and welcome to Just Africa, the window into the continent's evolving economic story. In today's episode, we turn our spotlight on Africa's capital markets, exploring how stock exchanges across the continent are not just trading floors, but they are barometers for economic confidence and tools for wealth creation and engine of development. From Lagos to Johannesburg, Cairo to Nairobi, and Casablanca to Accra, Ghana, Africa's stock exchanges are increasingly attracting attention, not just from local investors alone, but also from the global financial arena and the financial players looking for growth and yield. Yet, these markets remain largely misunderstood or overlooked at, often clouded by perceptions of instability and low liquidity and some regulatory opacity, I would call it, involved too. But the narrative is changing. In this episode titled Africa's Rising Markets, Demystifying the Stock Exchange on the Continent, we take a deep dive into the largest and most active exchanges in Africa, examining how they function, what drives them, who the players are, and what it means for everyday Africans, business, and international investors. Good morning to you once again, and welcome to Just Africa. Good morning, Olumide.
Good morning, Priya. How are you doing?
I'm okay. First of all, I am not surprised that South Africa is, at the top with $1.3 trillion market capitalization in the Johannesburg Exchange. Nigeria, we are not doing badly as well, but I have a problem with the number of companies that are quoted. 160 companies quoted in Nigeria, as big as the market is, 160 alone. In South Africa, we're looking at 300 companies quoted. And sometimes I just wonder, what is South Africa doing differently? And our talking points of, emulating this industry.
Let's try. I think the topic is demystifying the stock exchange. So when people hear stock exchange, especially in Nigeria, the layman, what comes to his mind? I remember growing up, when I hear stock exchange, I just think about Wall Street, rich people wearing suits, running around with papers, and But as I grew older, I began to understand what stock exchange is. So I think there's a bit of poor education as to what stock exchange is. Look at the recently CBEX scam and all that. It's because people are looking for quick money. But imagine if, though, I heard that a lady, I think she invested about 50 million naira into the CBEX thing. Now imagine that 50 million naira going into the stock, buying stock or shares of a particular company. Do you understand? So there's this lack of education as to what the stock market is. So I think that's one of the reasons why we have low companies listed on the stock exchange, Nigerian Stock Exchange. So I think we really need to sensitize people, create this awareness, but then again, you also need to educate them. They need to be aware, and we have new trading platforms that can actually help. So it's not rocket science, but you just need to understand that stock exchange is like you buying. It's like, okay, for instance, you go to a marketplace, you want to buy fish, you want to buy that. Same as stock exchange. When a company wants to increase or expand their listing, they sell some of their stock, their shares, basically. So you buy into that shares, you become a part owner. So when they when they're about to declare profit and all that, you enjoy. And of course, when it goes south, you also. So I think Nigerians need to really be aware of what the stock exchange is in order so that we have more investors, because we have rich farmers that can actually go into stock.
Yes.
We have them.
Yes. Well, without much further ado, we have experts and stockbrokers waiting to have conversation with us and with you this morning. And first, let's welcome Charles Fakora. He's a stockbroker, and he will be discussing with us this morning concerning our topic, demystifying the stock market in the continent of Africa. Good morning to you once again, Mr. Charles. Welcome to Just Africa. Thank you so much for joining us. Could you please unmute yourself so we can hear you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning to you. Welcome to Just Africa. And I'm glad you're a stockbroker. You are going to do justice to our conversation this morning, not only in Nigeria, but in some other big economies in Africa. Concerning the stock market, Tunisia, Morocco, Egypt, and South Africa. So first of all, let me take a cue from what my colleague said, Olumide. He talked about the lack of awareness and what comes to the mind of the common man in the street when we talk about stockbroking and stockbroker and capital market. And they felt like, okay, probably this is an esoteric jurisdiction, and it's meant for just certain level of people. So if you were to briefly, enlighten the man there on the street what stockbroking or what the capital market is and how he can throw in his 1 or 2 naira to earn a living, please kindly do that before we jump into the meat of our conversation this morning.
Yes, thank you very much. And when you talk about the capital market, talk about stockbroking, like your guest in the studio, it is not rocket. It is as simple as it is. Now, you are talking of stockbrokers. These are the professionals that facilitate trade on an exchange. and they operate in the capital market. Before they operate in that market, they have been licensed by a regulator, also now registered by the platform, and they have passed some various exams, and they are now certified stock brokers. Their main function, their main function is basically to buy and sell for their clients. At the same time, to encourage companies to come and get money, raise money from the market, so that the days of one man entrepreneur, your own capital is over. So if you have a company, your company has been operating maybe 3, 4, 5 years, and you want to expand, you talk to your stockbroker, your financial advisor, they will take you through the process of coming to the market to raise money, giving you opportunity to have access to funds. And doing that, you will now expand your operations. Now, the public that they are offering these shares to becomes part owner of that your enterprise. And you can see that you'll be able to do more, employ more people, at the same time, encourages economic growth and development. So that is basically about stockbroking and the capital market. Like any other financial market, it has to be regulated. So there are regulators, which is the Apex, the Federal Exchange Commission, to ensure that people play by the rules of the game, and also to ensure efficiency, transparency, and even liquidity in the market. It is not something for the airlines. It is not something for the rich people. Everybody can become a shareholder with as little as 5,000 naira. You can buy a share of a company. But you need to do that through your stock broker, which is why education, enlightenment is key for every investor, every Nigerian, every African to understand that they can partake in this market that looks as if it is very, very esoteric. It is not esoteric. It's as simple as going to the market to buy any other commodity. But in this market, the commodity we buy are financial assets.
Thank you so much. Now, Mr. Charles, please let us into the Nigerian stock market in the sense of the prospects of the Nigerian financial market, the stock market, and how things are run there. Because some of the information I have about the Nigerian stock market, the market capitalization is about 56 trillion naira, which is an equivalent of $40 billion. We have just 160 companies that are quoted in the market. And so it calls for concern, because we had a conversation before now, and that the financial analyst told us that Nigerian capital market is not really doing well in comparison to other capital markets. And we have seen what the South Africa, Johannesburg capital market is doing. Just taking a look at some of their details, they have about 1.3 trillion naira capitalization, market capitalization. Nigeria is just about $40 billion market capitalization. And in South Africa, they have over 300 companies that are quoted in the capital market. Why is that? Where do you think we are getting it wrong?
Yeah, thank you very much. I share your things. Yes, all stockbrokers, we share that faith that the Nigerian market can do better than what we have today. Today, we are talking about over 68 trillion naira. Let me use naira now. 68 trillion as market capitalization. Then, of course, the all-share index, what we call the all-share index, we used to measure the performance of the market, is being over 108,000 basis points. Yes, there has been some remarkable improvement, but we still believe that the market still has potential. It can still do better than what we have today. Now, I'm talking about the number of companies that are listed in the market. Yes, less than 200 companies agree. But you can see that it's a free market, free entry and free exit. When the market started by the Stock Exchange Act of 1960, or started operating in 1961, we saw a tremendous increase, not only in listed companies, but also listed securities, bonds, and all that. And the market grew. However, compared to our neighbors, like you have mentioned, South Africa, Nairobi, Egypt Stock Exchange, yes, we could do better looking at our population, over 200 million people. Yes, the problem we are having, a lot of education needs to continue. Yes, if you watch this year, I think in the last, we have seen some companies come to list in the market. So it's an ongoing process. And the regulators are doing everything to encourage companies to come and list the market, especially the Nigerian exchange, which we now call the NGX Limited, used to be Nigerian Stock Exchange. You will see that they have created various platforms, different boards, the premium board, the main board, the growth board, technology board. All this is in a bid to encourage SMEs to come, so that there are categories. If you cannot meet up the premium board because of the conditions, you can't meet up, fine. There is a main board. There is even a growth board. There is even a technology board. So they are trying to cater for all categories of entrepreneurs. But you must also realize that our attitude to doing business, we are so pivoted in one-man show, okay? But we are also happy that those one-man show, we have seen the likes of Aliko Dangote, we have seen the likes of Tony Elbenu. These were one-man businesses before. But today, they already have their companies listed in the market. So a lot of enlightenment has to continue. And at the same time, for the operators, we need a lot of innovation in terms of technology, mobile app, NGX Invest. All these are innovations to ensure that we attract more and more people. I must even shock you. Today, if you look at our record, we are over 200 million Nigerians. But the active investors were less than 6 million, okay, recorded as of December 2024. So I agree with you. A lot of work still needs to be done. However, the operators still need to continue. It's a very tedious work. Like I'll explain to you. Right now, as I'm finishing your meeting, I am going to somewhere to talk, that is the soldier barrack, to talk about investment. Because like you have said, people felt, oh, investing in the market is those with suits and this kind of red are putting on. No, you can even see that as soon as I'm through your program, I am going to trade from my bedroom, because we want to leverage on technology to encourage a lot of investors, not just only in Nigeria, also in Africa. And there are also programs to link all the exchanges in Africa to see that I can be in Nigeria here, and through a broker in South Africa, I can buy shares in Africa. I can buy shares in Ghana. So a lot of work is going on, but we need to begin to tell the average Nigerian the importance of the stock market. And of course, for those ones who have their company.
All right, Mr. Charles Fakora, thank you very much. The last word you mentioned, the importance of stock market. So, to the best of your knowledge, can you tell us what role the stock exchange play in economic development across all continents?
Yes, the role that the stock exchanges play very enormous. One, they encourage mobilization of capital from deficit units to, that is from the surplus unit to the deficit unit, that can be used for productive process. As a trader in the market, I tell my would-be stockbroker that your main job is to encourage SMEs, small companies, to come and lead, so that they will have that capacity to increase their production. And when they're able to do that, they will employ more people, thereby reducing unemployment in the country. But at the same time, it has to do with financial assets. So there must be regulation. And that is why some people are even saying, oh, the market is being over-regulated. No, we need to protect investors. So one of the cardinal points of the exchanges or the stock exchange is not just only to create that platform where people can come and raise money, at the same time, buy and sell security. But investors has to be protected, which is key, investors protection. At the same time, you need to make the market to be efficient and transparent. So there are guidelines. And what we have come to realize, some of these investors or entrepreneurs, when they want to come to the market, they begin to complain of those guidelines. But those guidelines, at the end of the day, is to ensure transparent investors protection and efficiency of the market. So stock exchanges is a barometer in measuring what happens in the economy. Like our all share index, if the index is doing well, it's going up, which tells you that the economy is also improving. However, there are some aspects of the economy that are not listed in the market, so the market will not be able to track those sectors. I'm talking about the shipping industry, the creative industry. But there are plans on the way to encourage those sectors of the economy to come and list in the market so that the market will be a balanced barometer of the economy.
All right, thank you very much. Last question in less than a minute before we go. We have some challenges talking about the capital market and stock exchange. One of which, currency risk, political instability. How do you think Nigeria can navigate through some of these challenges?
Yes, that's a big problem. Liquidity is also there, currency issue, political, because the political economy affects what happens in the financial market. And that is why governments all over the world are taking their capital market, their stock exchanges, they are partnering with them to ensure that their policies are in line in trying to improve the economy. I must tell you that the Nigerian capital market is in line with with President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in terms of attaining. We can only achieve this with the collaboration of the government of the state. And the government has to be deliberate in its support for the Nigerian capital market. We need to create a enabling business environment. Because we want to attract foreign investors to come to our market, we need to ensure that our policies are friendly. Economic policies are friendly. We give some incentives. Because if we don't do that, then that will be a problem. But in terms of integrating African stock exchanges, a lot of work is going on there. We have a project which is called the African Stock Exchanges Linkage Program to ensure that even in terms of currency, you can see that it's even easy for me to trade with somebody in US or China than for me to trade with somebody in Nairobi or South Africa. So there is a problem already in Africa as a whole. And that is why the African Development Bank, in collaboration with what I call the African Securities Exchanges, they are collaborating to ensure that the exchanges in Africa are integrated, because that is key to ensure that we have regional integration, first of all, with Africa, so that it's easy to trade, buy stock in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Nairobi, in Egypt, so that the continent will improve in terms of our economic development. So the issue of currency, yes, African Development Bank is working on that to see that all those technologies involved in terms of currency conversion and all that, they are taken into consideration when me using Naira here, I want to buy a share for my client in South Africa, conversion to Rand, and all that process will be seamless. So by the time it's not going to happen overnight, it has to take some time, but I assure you the project is ongoing, and in no distant future, we are going to see a complete regional integration of African stock exchanges, thereby demystifying what stock exchanges actually do.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Charles Fakora, stockbroker, who joins us this morning on Just Africa. We're going to break shortly, and the conversation is not over yet. When we return, Just Africa continues with another stockbroker who will be having same conversation from a different perspective. Do stay with us.
Broad Street. Broad Street, situated in Lagos Island, is steeped in Nigerian history. Once the biggest financial hub of the country, it housed the headquarters of major banks, linked the CBN, the stock exchange, and the loads of lender companies. Broad Street is a historically significant street. It has played a central role in the development of Lagos and history, an important commercial and administrative center for the British colonial authorities. It was also a home to some of the city's earliest modern buildings. Broad Street was a residential area in the pre-colonial era. With the British came the Methodist Boys High School in 1878 and the Broad Street Prison in 1882, renamed Freedom Park. The General Hospital, which was a British military hospital, was built in 1893, being the first general hospital in Nigeria. The old British Secretariat building, which is now the Federal Ministry of Justice, was built in 1906. Broad Street has seen a full turn into modern commercial office blocks, complexes, skyscrapers, and markets from the outer marina through Akpombo early into the Adeniji-Adele Road. Broad Street is one of the busiest streets in Nigeria on weekdays, where commercial activities take place day and night. From modern buildings to ancient structures, this street gives one a raw dose of life in Lagos. Broad Street is often referred to as Lagos Financial District. It boasts a mix of architectural styles, reflecting its long history, colonial-era buildings, Victorian and Edwardian architectural features, alongside more modern skyscrapers and structures. Broad Street remains a vital, vibrant part of the Nigerian economy. Broad Street. Souq Enlightenment.
Some people hear the sound of wood being cut and they think stress, dust, wahala. They say, I beg, who won't suffer with saw and hammer? To them, woodworking is messy, tiring, and just not worth the trouble. But others, they see something else. They see polished tables, handcrafted shelves, stylish stools. They see beauty, value, and serious money. Because yes, cutting wood may be tough, but the hustle can turn into pure profit. My name is Grace Komolafe. Welcome to Cash Craft, where we show you how every skills can become money-making ventures. Today, we are talking woodworking, from basic tools to beautiful designs, and how to turn timber into treasure. Now, let's cut into it. Step 1. Pick your project. Before you saw your first board, ask yourself, what do you want to build? Furniture, shelves, decorative wall panels, or maybe customized kitchen boards. Start small. A simple stool or bookshelf can teach you the basics and still fetch good money. Let's move to step 2. Tools, timber, and a plan. You don't need a massive workshop to start. Basic tools like a measuring tape, hand saw, drill, clamps, and sandpaper will do. Choose durable wood like teak, mahogany, or poplar for long-lasting products. And don't forget the blueprint. Sketch your project or download free woodworking plans online. A clear-cut list saves you time, wood, and costly mistakes. Let's move to step 3. Cut, build, finish. Measure twice, cut once. That's the golden rule. Then assemble carefully. Use wood glue and screws for strong joints. Once it's built, sand smooth and apply a finished varnished wax or paint to protect and beautify. That rustic table or wine rack, it just went from workshop to showroom. Let's move ahead. Step 4. Sell like a pro. Now the magic part is turning your craft into cash. Who is your customer? Young couples, urban decorators, cafe owners. They love custom, handmade, and unique. Use social media to showcase your work. Instagram, Pinterest, and all of that are gold mines for visibility. You can add pricing, yes, delivery info, and behind-the-scenes videos. Look, that's a great catch. You need to let people see your videos where you are doing your work uniquely. That's an addition and validation. Now, want more reach? Yes, attend fairs, pop-up shops, or sell via platforms that you know a whole lot of them are out there. Let's move to step 5. Stand out to scale. Offer engraving, custom-sized or eco-friendly finishes. Don't just sell a table, sell a story. Yes, you can see the emphasis. Sell a story, handcrafted in Ibadan or upcycled from reclaimed wood. People pay more when the product means more. Network with interior decorators, real estate agents, and even planners. Your one shelf may become a hotel's full order. But of course, no business is all smooth wood. Power issues could happen, tool costs, and inconsistent wood supply can slow you down. Still, with skills, strategy, and smart marketing, woodworking can take you from small workshop to a big warehouse. So here is your takeaway. And don't forget to do your proper research, because this is only a heads up, a wake-up call that you can do it. Woodworking is not just craftsmanship, it's cashmanship. It's a business of creativity, precision, and pride. Whether you are making one stool a week or outfitting full apartments, this is a hustle that builds literally. This has been Cashcraft, and I am Grace Komolafe, reminding you that if life gives you timber, turn it into treasure. Until next time, build bold, build smart.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on Just Africa this morning. We are not done having conversation with Charles Fakora, who is a chartered stockbroker. Though we are expecting another stockbroker to join us, but Mr. Charles is not going anywhere yet. Welcome back to the program, Mr. Charles.
Thank you. I'm back.
Thank you. Many thanks for joining us. Now, let's take our conversation a little further. Whilst you were talking, you were making references to the intention, your intention, and the intention of the Securities and Exchange Commission and the regulators to expand and harmonize the stock markets in different African countries so they can be a common trading platform. And so in harmonizing this, we've been looking at it. Does the African Continental Free Trade Area that remove tariff barriers, non-tariff barriers, does it present a platform for us to do this? And do you think African countries concerned are really showing the resilience to using that instrument of African Continental Free Trade Area as an instrument or a platform of convergence to expand the stock market?
Yes, that is even the essence of that Africa Continental Free Trade agreement. And of course, the African Development Bank is spearheading at the forefront of everything. We must give kudos to the outgoing president, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. He has spearheaded that integration of African trades, integration of African stock exchanges. But for now, basically, that instrument is going to facilitate and assist trading. Because what is actually stock exchange? It's buying and selling. So when we have that kind of instrument, it is going to assist each of these stock exchanges. Now let's start from West Africa. We have what they call the WACP, trying to integrate all the stock exchanges in West Africa. But there is a language issue. So today we have an exchange that takes care of all the francophone speaking countries. They call it the BRUBN, headquarters in Cote d'Ivoire, taking care of Mali, Senegal, Guinea, Togo, Benin. So you can see there is already an integration. Then you have the Ghana Stock Exchange, you have the NGX in Nigeria. Now, once that is done, trade becomes easy in our sub-region. Because I keep saying it, we can't trade freely among ourselves, but we can trade with China. We can trade with the, so that is why the African Exchanges Link project is all being supported by African Development Bank, and at the same time, the instrument that you have just mentioned. But I also need to mention that there are challenges. The challenges are enormous. But the African countries themselves need to be intentional. They need to understand the benefits this is going to give to the continent. Africa as a continent, we can survive on our own. We have all the human and natural resources that we need to make the continent a great continent.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fakora. So I'd like you to take us through what is insider trading, I beg your pardon, and how does it affect the capital market? And is there anything like legal and illegal insider trading?
Yes, you just got that from my mouth. Yes, thank you very much. When you say insider trading, it does not mean that it's illegal. Now, insider trading is just simply an insider in the company, either the managing director, senior staff, directors, or other top management staff, even consultants of the companies, having access to price sensitive information, and they use it to benefit themselves. Those information have not been made known to the public. That is why it is called insider trading. However, there is a legal insider trading, and there is a rule today on the Nigerian exchange, that is the NGX. As an insider, maybe a chairman of a company, a consultant to a company, you want to buy or sell that company share, you must disclose it. You must disclose. So if a person like Dangote or Elubelu or Tedola is buying shares of companies which they are chairmen or directors, they will disclose as to what they are buying, what they are selling, at what price. The whole market will be aware. And the exchange will approve it. Regulators will approve it. That is what we say is a legal insider trading. The other one that most of us know before, which is the illegal one, is the one that is not been approved, and those insiders take advantage of that information to profit themselves, their cronies, and at the same time also reduce their losses. Of course, it's a financial crime, and if there is any case of an illegal insider trading that is discovered, then the people involved will be prosecuted. Thank God the NGS has a unit called surveillance and investigation. So they look at the market, they monitor the market, and if they see unusual movement, of course, they will call it up as red flag and begin to investigate. And if there are cases to show, yes, of course, those people involved will be prosecuted.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fakora. Now, I am more interested in facilitating trade among African countries, and you have done well by referencing that. And let me bring to your mind the conversation that the chairman or the president of African Development Bank that you mentioned, Akinwumi Adesina, who, whilst in Dubai, was talking about the immense potential possibilities available to African countries if 1.4 billion people trade amongst themselves. But globally, the African stock market has not been valued. Do you think they are being undervalued? Or is it because Nigeria or other African countries have not really taken advantage of some of the rare, raw, solid materials that are available on their soil? The Kenyan stock market is just about $10 billion worth. Nigeria is about $40 billion. And Tunisia or Morocco is about $70 billion. And this, the variance, the differences are so stark different. South Africa, Nigerian stock market is almost, South African stock market is like 3 times bigger than Nigerian stock market. And their potential is from banking real estate, insurance, and we see Nigerian banks declare profit most of the time. Why do you think we are not there yet?
Yes, it's not that we're not there yet. You see, there are things that contribute to the market capitalization you are talking about. It's a function of the number of companies that are listed. When you say market cap, market capitalization, it's just the total number of companies.
So sorry, Mr. Fakora. We are having some challenge with network glitch here. It's been, we've been experiencing rains recently, and the communication lines seem to be. Mr. Charles is going to join us again as we continue. So I wanted to actually know that, because if you look at some of the exports or some of the things that promotes the Kenyan stock market, you'll be surprised. We talked about it yesterday, and the fact that it actually has a bearing on the stock market in Kenya. Okay, so Mr. Charles is back. Many thanks for joining us once again. Now, what's your line of thought?
Yes. So what we need to do is to ensure that there are proper regulation in place. But the most important thing there is to convince our entrepreneurs to have confidence in the African market so that they can be listed in our exchanges. When we have more companies listed on the exchanges, then our market cap obviously is going to improve. But the most important thing, first of all, is to achieve that regional integration. Regional integration. And that can be done by all the countries involved in Africa to be committed to ensure that we want to trade with ourselves using our stock exchanges and, of course, other trade platforms.
I'll let you go. I want to quickly ask this question. What's the requirements, the conditions on ground for a company to be listed in stock exchange in Nigeria? Maybe we can use that to make some form of comparison with what obtains in other African countries.
Very good one. Yes, there are a lot of conditions, what we call listing requirements. First of all, the company must be a PLC. That's one. Then the company must have directors. Then the company must be operating, depending on the board you want to get listed, whether premium board, main board, growth board, or even the technology board. You must be operating maybe for at least, for growth board, maybe for 3 years, to have your records. For premium board, depending if you have been performing and they will see what you have been doing, then of course, the profit after tax you have been declaring for quite some time, must be encouraging. Then these are just some of the requirements that you need. At the same time, the board of directors will now apply and say, yes, we want to be listed on your exchange. So it's thereby the exchange will do a lot of due diligence to ensure that the companies that are coming to list meet what we call corporate governance requirements. Because when you come to the market, you are no longer a private company, and you'll be ready to disclose all your financials. Like we say in the stockbroking palace, you'll be ready to dance naked. That is full disclosure. So those are some of the requirements. Then when you are now listed, that are requirements what we call post-listing requirements. That is on a quarterly basis.
It's really quite challenging.
Challenging.
And this question about the requirement is very key, because
very, very key.
200 million people, 160 companies alone, only listed. And I remember the other time when we were discussing issues and putting the African continental free trade area as the centerpiece of our conversation, and using African Union to drive our conversation. Nigeria was mentioned as the leader in information technology. So my mind quickly just went up to NASDAQ 500 companies, which are the first 500 companies that have the capacity to trade.
Yes.
And all the requirements are there and they are listed. But you know what was leading the NASDAQ 500 is the IT firms, creativity, driving it, media organizations driving it. And I said to myself, with the myriad of media organizations we have in this company and with startups, I think they should be in there. Welcome back once again, Mr. Charles. Okay, so I was asking what we need to do to get there. Maybe the kind of orientation and the kind of awareness that the Nigerian Stock Exchange would need to do if they are not getting applications from organizations, expressing interest to be part of companies that are quoted in the exchange. And I think we should go to the people.
All right, welcome back, Mr. Fakora. Just one last question before you go in less than a minute. What is the future of the stock exchange in the digital age? And could we one day see a Pan-African stock exchange? What would it take?
The future of the African stock exchanges, particularly the Nigerian exchange, that's the NGX. I see an innovative stock exchange already started. I see a deepening of the Nigerian market. Just one day, yes, we are going to achieve a Pan-African stock exchange because it's just a matter of commitment by the government. And of course, the operators are willing to run with it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Charles Fakora. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Just Africa. We do apologize for the network glitch that has in one way hindered you from hindered us from having a smooth conversation. But we can make do because you've done quite well this morning. Let's just remember that Cashcraft is part of our work this morning, and you don't want to miss that.
In the northern Sahel belt of Nigeria, where the earth is dry and the trees look like ancient sculptures, are quiet miracle lakes from back, not oil, not gas, but gum arabic, the golden sap of the acacia tree. To the untrained eye, it's just a sticky substance, but in the global market, it is a prized natural stabilizer found in everything from soft drinks to cosmetics, printing inks to pharmaceuticals. Nigeria is one of the world's top producers, yet many Nigerians don't know that this sticky substance is sticky with wealth. In a village near Gadam, Musa bends towards the thorny tree. With a small knife, he taps a scar into bark. Days later, golden tears form, drops of gum arabic, collected, sun-dried, and packed. They are ready for the world. Gum arabic is a natural gum harvested from 2 species of acacia tree. It's odorless, tasteless, and dissolves in water, making it perfect for global industries that demand natural ingredients. Soft drink companies use it, so do artists making watercolor paint. Even your chewing gum may contain this humble resin. It is exported in tons, fetching hundreds of millions of dollars annually on the global market. Sudan may be the world's leading exporter, but Nigeria ranks high too, especially in Borno, Yobe, Jigawa, Bauchi, and Katsina states. Yet, most of our gum is exported raw, unprocessed, meaning Nigeria earns cents, that's just a little, on the dollar compared to countries that refine it. The real money lies in value addition, refining, packaging, branding. But this requires training, machinery, and investment. If you are a youth looking to tap into agribusiness, Gum Arabic offers low barriers and long-term returns. Here is how you can plug in. Harvesting. Training and basic tools are enough to begin. 2. Aggregation. Buy in bulk from rural harvesters and resell to exporters. 3. Processing. With the right machinery, turn raw gum into powder or flakes. 4. Export. Partner with international buyers or cooperatives to reach global markets. 5. Byproducts. Gum is used in making glue, ink, cosmetic potential for SMEs in beauty or arts. Like every commodity, gum arabic has its turns. Climate change affects 3 youths, insecurity in the north discourages large-scale investment, and lack of awareness means local farmers often sell cheaply. But through cooperatives, training and access to microcredits, more Nigerians, especially youth, can revive this Asian trade. Remember, this is not a professional advice. It is an heads-up, a clue into what could fetch you money, especially when people aren't looking towards that direction. Multiple research and professional consultation will go a long way. So the next time you sip a fizzy drink, apply makeup or paint on canvas, remember the dry acacia tree in Yobe, blending wealth into the hands of those who know its value. Cash is crafted not only in factories, but in forgotten farms and silent forests. In the gum of the desert lies the gold we've ignored too long. I am Grace Komalafe. See you again.
Thank you so much, Grace, for that and those valuable information about the gum arabic, and for the fact that it doesn't just only exist in the Sahel in Africa, it also exists in Nigeria, and that Nigeria is the third largest producer of this gum. It just calls to mind when our political leaders talk about, diversification, the economic diversification away from oil and all of that, and how we are not considering this. Industrialization is still the key. Is still the key to making sure that in Nigeria, is conveyed from being a third world countries, and not only Nigeria, including other African countries, are moved from the low income countries to the first world countries. The machinery and the industry for this is massive. If we have about 1.4 billion people in Africa and about 250 million or more in Nigeria alone, imagine if, because we heard how gum is a veritable source or raw material for the fabric and the textile industry. Imagine producing what we wear and, levying high tariffs on clothes coming from China, coming from the United States, coming from the West, coming from Europe, because we want to make sure that our local textile industry works, and including other African. Imagine what that can do for Nigeria.
It's amazing watching Catchcraft and finding out that gum can be used for so many things, the production of so many things: drinks, candy, toothpaste.
Yes.
Coated for tablets. It can be used as adhesives. So many things.
Most of these things you just mentioned.
Yes.
We import them into the country.
We import them. So it means that there's avenue for production, manufacturing companies to really thrive in Nigeria, because the raw materials is here. We're the third largest. So, we have it in abundance. So it gives room for wealth creation, job employment, so many things. It's just that, we really, I think it's more of educating ourselves, first of all, and I will always come back to this, the government making a level playing ground, creating a conducive environment for investors, manufacturers to thrive. Okay. Because if we really want to be doing Africa and Nigeria first, buy Nigeria first, it's achievable.
It's achievable, but
we have everything. We have it.
Okay. So if 3 to 4 million people are already cultivating this material, but you know what? The downside is this: we are exporting them in a raw form, not in a processed form. We stand to lose and not to gain. But that being the case, I hope China, its foray into Africa, will not come in to Nigeria one day and start processing gari for us. because I was told in the university that that might happen. And my prayer is we will not get there where China will be producing Gary for us, because our local people need to do that. And same thing applies to other African countries. Now we're going to look at the uniqueness of Africa, and we're looking at the diaspora in this sense. But what countries diaspora we're looking at? I will leave that to you as you stay glued to our screen.
Two widely used and deeply troubling terms dominate discussions around Nigerian emigration: japa and brain drain. Japa, a word that has made its way into the Oxford English Dictionary, means to leave Nigeria for another country, often Europe or America, in pursuit of education, job opportunities, or better economic prospects. It also connotes to escape or to flee. The second term, brain drain, refers to the outflow of skilled professionals, doctors, engineers, academics, and more, leaving Nigeria to contribute their talents to other nations. As a patriot, one might argue that both terms evoke concern. Japa is symptomatic of systemic failures that drive citizens away from their homeland instead of encouraging them to stay and push for reform. As authors Darren Asimoglu and James Robinson emphasized in Why Nations Fail, governance thrives under civic pressure. If the youth and professionals flee, who remains to demand accountability and enforce positive change? Likewise, brain drain depletes the country's human capital. When Nigeria's best trained professionals are developing other nations, the country is left with fewer hands to build its own future. However, this narrative is shifting. As Bayo Olaoye explores in this special report, there is a compelling case for viewing the Nigerian diaspora not as a loss, but as an economic powerhouse. From brain drain to brain gain. Recent figures from the Nigerian Medical and Dental Council show that only about 27,000 of Nigeria's 71,740 registered doctors currently practice in the country. Thousands of Nigerian doctors, nurses, and health professionals now work in the UK and the US, contributing significantly to those nations' healthcare systems. It's a trend seen across professions, from teachers to tech experts. Critics argue these individuals should be at home, contributing to Nigeria's development. Yet, the picture is not so black and white. According to World Bank economists Art Cray and David McKenzie, poverty can often be a function of where one lives. For many Nigerians, staying home may mean remaining trapped in poverty. In that context, emigration is a rational choice and often a necessary one. Furthermore, the idea of brain drain has evolved into brain circulation or brain gain. Many Nigerians abroad are returning with skills, capital, and experience to invest in the country. Even those who don't return still give back. As Dr. Segun Aganga noted in Reclaiming the Jewel of Africa, diaspora Nigerians do not have to physically return to make an impact. Diaspora remittances, a lifeline for millions. Diasporans are sustaining the Nigerian economy through billions in remittances. Between 2018 and 2020, Nigerians abroad sent home over $65 billion, accounting for 4% of Nigeria's GDP. These funds uplift millions of households, offering relief from poverty, hunger, and economic despair. Remittances also help stabilize the naira, acting as a buffer against foreign exchange volatility. Yet, Nigeria is missing an opportunity to fully harness this potential. The Central Bank of Nigeria has imposed capital flow restrictions, forcing remitted dollars to be exchanged only at the official rate and in naira. This approach discourages larger inflows and stifles the remittance ecosystem. Diaspora trade and investment, the next frontier. Beyond remittances lies a massive opportunity in export trade. A Commonwealth Secretariat report highlights how countries with large diasporas have a comparative advantage in export markets. With over 20 million Nigerians abroad, this is a goldmine waiting to be tapped. Nigerians abroad crave products from home, be it fashion, food, film, or fine art. But to meet this demand, Nigeria needs a deliberate strategy to engage the diaspora. This means more than just ceremonial congratulations. It demands structured collaboration, policy coordination, and economic diplomacy. NIDCOM and the policy disconnect. The Nigerian Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, under the leadership of Abike Dabiri Erawa, has raised visibility on diaspora issues. However, its current focus remains largely reactive, centered around crises like human trafficking and consular support. For real impact, NIDCOM must collaborate with economic ministries, coordinate with trade and industry stakeholders, and act as a bridge between diaspora investors and local entrepreneurs. Beyond economics, political and institutional engagement. Nigeria must not reduce its diaspora to economic figures alone. They are citizens with a stake in the country's political future. That's why remote voting rights must be instituted, allowing diasporans to participate in national elections. Moreover, complaints about Nigerian embassies and high commissions, especially in the US and UK, must be addressed. Diasporans often face challenges with basic services like passport renewal, which leaves them feeling alienated and abandoned. This must change. The Nigerian diaspora is not a burden, it is a blessing. A sleeping economic giant that, if properly engaged, could help rewrite Nigeria's growth story. From remittances and trade to skills transfer and global influence, the diaspora is a strategic asset and not a national loss. What Nigeria needs is bold policy reform and a new mindset, one that sees migration not as failure, but as a force for economic revival. Japa may signal escape, but with the right vision, it can also spark renewal. I'm Moyosore Adebi for Souq News TV.
Welcome back, many thanks for joining us. Thank you to Bayo Olaoye and Moyosore. And that report that documentary is excellent. Nigerians in diaspora, it's not a burden, it's not a brain drain, it's a brain gain.
Yes.
Because we must begin to stop to see them as a burden. Because when they come back to this country, they find a better way to run a business in the murky and disturbing of places, even if it's farming and in other places. And we think that what they are bringing back to the economy is much more than what they took out.
You rightly said it. I mean, brain drain. That's what we're having, our brain drain. It's not brain drain or
It's
whatever.
not brain drain,
because
drain.
if you look at the real estate sector, a lot of the Nigerians in diaspora, they want patronizing the real estate. Over there, they just want to have a secured property in Nigeria. They reach out to some of these real estate agents and, acquire lands, houses here and there, that even though they are locked up for years and, there's the problem of where to stay and all that. But they are actually, adding into the economy and everything. So let's see it as a brain gain, not brain drain. It's just that we are losing some of the brains, the creatives that we need to develop this country. They are going to another country to develop another country and sending cash back to us, which in turn, well, let me stop there.
For me, my case is just different. And trust me, my perspective, Nigerians, you own the world. Go out, just go. Nigeria will never lack other brains. People are coming up. You think you are the best brain and that losing you, Nigeria has lost everything. I tell you not. No, we have others. It's not a brain drain, it's a brain gain. Thank you once again, Bayo Olaoye, for that. My name is Oyin Priye Krumale. It's Just Africa, and a thanks to you for joining us this morning.
And I am Olumide Shokoya. Many thanks for joining us.
northern Sahel belt of Nigeria, where the earth is dry and the trees look like ancient sculptures, are quiet miracle lakes from back. Not oil, not gas, but gum arabic, the golden sap of the acacia tree. To the untrained eye, it's just a sticky substance, but in the global market, it is a prized natural stabilizer found in everything from soft drinks to cosmetics, printing inks to pharmaceuticals. Nigeria is one of the world's top producers, yet many Nigerians don't know that this sticky substance is sticky with wealth. In a village near Gadam, Musa bends towards the thorny tree. With a small knife, he taps a scat into bark. Days later, golden tears form, drops of gum arabic, collected, sun-dried, and packed. They are ready for the world. Gum arabic is a natural gum harvested from 2 species of acacia tree. It's odorless, tasteless, and dissolves in water, making it perfect for global industries that demand natural ingredients. Soft drink companies use it, so do artists making watercolor paint. Even your chewing gum may contain this humble resin. It is exported in tons, fetching hundreds of millions of dollars annually on the global market. Sudan may be the world's leading exporter, but Nigeria ranks high too, especially in Borno, Yobe, Jigawa, Bauchi, and Katsina states. Yet, most of our gum is exported raw, unprocessed, meaning Nigeria earns cents, that's just a little, on the dollar compared to countries that refine it. The real money lies in value addition, refining, packaging, branding. But this requires training, machinery, and investment. If you are a youth looking to tap into agribusiness, Gum Arabic offers low barriers and long-term returns. Here is how you can plug in. Harvesting. Training and basic tools are enough to begin. 2. Aggregation. Buy in bulk from rural harvesters and resell to exporters. 3. Processing. With the right machinery, turn raw gum into powder or flakes. 4. Export. Partner with international buyers or cooperatives to reach global markets. 5. Byproducts. Gum is used in making glue, ink, cosmetic potential for SMEs in beauty or arts. Like every commodity, gum arabic has its turns. Climate change affects 3 youths. Insecurity in the north discourages large-scale investment, and lack of awareness means local farmers often sell cheaply. But through cooperatives, training, and access to microcredits, more Nigerians, especially youth, can revive this Asian trade. Remember, this is not a professional advice. It is an heads-up, a clue into what could fetch you money, especially when people aren't looking towards that direction. Multiple research and professional consultation will go a long way. So the next time you sip a fizzy drink, apply makeup or paint on canvas, remember the dry acacia tree in Yobe, blending wealth into the hands of those who know its value. Cash is crafted not only in factories, but in forgotten farms and silent forests. In the gum of the desert lies the gold we've ignored too long. I am Grace Komalafe. See you again.
AME, the Chief Executive Officer, Field Foundation. Please, can you please recognize that she's presently present. Please let the time scale up for her. Thank you so much. Ushers, please are needing to be on standby to see many of my guests and not seated where they should be, so that let me do that. Alright. I think we have, I don't know if we have the founder of the Builders Transact. Yes. Okay. The Legal State Manager for Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDA, Dr. Olubunmi Odedaudu, still on his way. Mr. Tunji Oket, co-founder of Get Funded Africa Technologies, still on his way. Dr. Idausa of Sankaze, that's the general manager of Souq News. You are recognized as well. Mr. Shino Banikeshi is here with us, the managing director of Goxi Micro Insurance Bank. You're welcome. So, round of applause. Can you wave your hands so that we know you are here with us? Thank you so much. Please, ushers. Yes. Can you help me move into its appropriate seat? Thank you so much. Mrs. Tino Olatunsin Ajayi, Asborn Ambassador, former President, Association of Professional Women Bankers. Alright, still on our way. Mr. Richard Imonije, Regional Manager, Bank of Industry. You're most welcome. A round of applause for him. Thank you so much. Right, we're still expecting the representative from SON, NAFDAC, and the Raw Material Research and Development Council of Nigeria. If you have the representative, please let us know. Alright. Okay. I think it's safe to move on while we await other guests that are meant to take their seat here today. But meanwhile, while we do that, please let me at this point in time announce to us that this event once again is put together by ASBON, Association of Business Owners of Nigeria, in collaboration with the Lagos State Ministry of Commerce, Trade, Industry, Cooperatives and Investment. And we are here today. It's going to be a record-breaking event for you. This is your first time. Please, this is your first time. Please, can you wave your hand? This is your first time. Oh, wow, we have first time here. Wow. Well, don't worry, we'll start a drink now. That's the first time, don't worry. And that's what we do in churches, yes or yes. First time honors, don't worry. Because, because you hear drink, you're not raising your hand. You didn't raise it before. Because you have to be entertained, there's no problem. Alright, everyone will also be entertained here today. We have our sponsors and brand. Many of them. We have Zenith Bank, which is the lead sponsor, the platinum category, and of course, 7-Up would be company makers of Pepsi. And that's why you see Pepsi outside there. So please don't worry, you will be duly entertained. Bank of Industry, Adosa, Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, Souq News, Goxi Micro Insurance Company, the CRC Credit Bureau Limited, and of course, yes, these are some of our sponsors. And at this point in time, I think it's important that we know why we are doing this. For 5 consecutive years, this organization have ensured that this event is put together to celebrate stakeholders who are adding value to the small and medium enterprises in Nigeria, and to shed more light and give us more insight as to why they've been consistent with this event. Please, I would like to invite no other person than the lead convener, the president of the Association of Small Business Owners of Nigeria, a great visionary, a great pathfinder. Please, let's celebrate Dr. Femi Egbesola. Please permit me to start on existing protocols for the special mention of the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Banky Sowolu, the Executive Governor of State Prince Dapò Abiodun CON, the Commissioner for Commerce, Cooperative Trade and Investment, Mrs. Olashade Amosun-Bidebe, the Honorable Commissioner for Commerce, Industry, Trade and Investment, State, Mr. Shofela Adiobola, and other head of ministries, departments, and agencies represented. I'm sure that I'm aware that the DG of FIRO being represented here. I will please have this stand up for recognition of thank you very much. That will fade me if I want to mention. Everybody has ought to be mentioned. Everyone was involved. I also like to thank very seriously the keynote speaker for today, David for many other times we're here. And of course, our panelists, quite a number of them are already around. Thank you so much for being here today. The commissioner will soon be here to give a speech. But before then, we're going to go down to my speech, which is to give an opening address. So on behalf of the Association of Small Business Owners of Nigeria, in collaboration with the Lagos State Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative Industry and Investments, I warmly welcome you to the Nigerian National MSME Business Awards. This is the 5th edition, and it is designed to celebrate, appreciate, and enable supporters of the MSME ecosystem. We have created a platform to say thank you for supporting us in all areas, institutions, governments, development partners, and the rest. And it is our desire to find a way to create a platform to recognize and appreciate. That's the essence of this award event. And at the same time, too, it's not just about appreciating them, it's about pushing them to do more. The award program is designed to say, please, we want you to do more. So today, it's not just about appreciating, it's about also encouraging them to support us to more. We are like kids, the MSMs, we are like kids, we need all the push, we need all the support. Everyone in the ecosystem can give to us. We also want to thank our sponsors that we are today all constituents, all of us without the sponsors. We also thank the media and of course every other person, including my own immediate community, has won many agreements.
To the members of Osborne, I think they are by this side, right? Please celebrate them. Let's put our hands together for them. The drivers of the economy, yes or yes. I think you guys have a slogan, Osborne starts from wow. Is that it? Can you get that? You know it. Wow. Amazing. Osborne starts from growing. See, it's very important, especially the last one. You want to start now. Many ideas are probably died in the heads of the conceivers, like, I will start tomorrow, I have this idea, and yet you never had the opportunity to start. So it's very important, start now. God bless you for consistently putting this together. You are indeed the drivers of the economy, and we celebrate what you are doing under the able leadership of the President, Dr. Femi Ekmeshola, very energetic man. I don't know where he gets energy from. See, yesterday, through reaching out, putting the dots on the I's, crossing the T's, ensuring everything is, on point. God bless you. I love your meticulousness. There's so much I'm learning from you, sir. God bless you, sir. Thank you so much. All right, on this note, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's the 5th SME Business Awards, National SME Business Awards, put together by Osborne. We'll be inviting our keynote speakers to speak for us at this point in time. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker is all the basic the Executive Director of Faith Foundation, Mrs. Adenike Adeyemi. She will be speaking to us on sustainable business practices, the new competitive advantage for SMEs. A round of applause for her one more time.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Abby. Great, thank you once again. I'm really delighted to be here at the 5th Nigerian National SME Business Awards. Very honored to be giving the keynote address. All protocols duly observed and I stand on the existing protocols that were earlier on outlined, and hopefully our special guests coming, and I know that take time to acknowledge them once they come. I also would like to, I love the Ask Small, Start Small project, Start Now. It's a very inspiring, but also very strategic slogan. And I think it speaks to the essence of what ASPON is, but also what ASPON should be, and the role that you play within the ecosystem. For me, whenever I come to events like this, the people who are very important to me as our VIPs are those who are building businesses of different forms. You are my VIPs, you are the champions of our work in so many ways. You are the ones that own our economies nationally, community-wise, locally. Nobody gets burdened like people that run businesses. I know recently we were talking a lot about emotional and mental health for business owners because they need it. Maybe even more than other people that do it. And I'm also happy to see that we have quite a lot of women here. No prejudice to our men, but it's a lot. You're home builders, you're community builders, you're vision builders. So I want to especially acknowledge our MSMEs who are here in the room. So good morning once again, everyone.
Decision and MSME can actually take view of the affordability of microinsurance, for them to adopt affordable microinsurance, for them to be valued as a means of risk management to protect themselves in the event that they experience shock. And of course, with as little as 1,500 naira, an MSME can actually be able to access to protect their means of livelihood. Or a minimum of 500 naira, monthly premium payment. They will actually buy an health coverage, that will, of course, protect themselves, protect their staff, and member of household against issue of out-of-pocket, health services. And of course, an MSME with that same little amount of money will also be able to access, some kind of insurance protection that will support the education of their children. All of these are very essential in terms of support that MSME needs. What we found mostly is that MSME are not able to adopt, the coping mechanism that MSME adopt are always very challenging. And most of the time, quite often than not, erodes their, small saving by having to deep manage their, already existing asset or saving for them to actually meet some of these challenges. Thank you.
You'll be shocked to see that a lot of small businesses do not have access to data or do not make data-driven decisions that help their businesses perform, right? So to achieve continued success in a growing economy like Nigeria, small businesses need to focus on solutions that help them stay efficient.
We are very focused on sustainability because we understand that SMEs are the engines and the main focus of any economy in any nation. So why do we talk about sustainability? There are different ways of ensuring that there's sustainability through strategic programs that it does. In SMEDA, we have various programs that are focused towards the whole MSMEs. Then we are also gender-centric and we focus on those that are mainly meant for women and youths. Some of the programs we have about 15 programs off the top of my head. We have some that are focused on those in agriculture, the textile and the likes of them. For example, we have the YSP, which is Women in Self-Employment Program, which is focusing on women that are working for themselves and trying to thrive. So we always try to identify all these businesses and look at how we can have a strategic partnership within the ecosystem and building sustainability. Thank you.
Some time ago, I was in Kigali and we were having a conversation and somebody said something that was quite very traumatic for me as a person. And he said there are two nations on earth that are very passionate about telling how bad that they are. And those nations are Nigeria and South Africa. So we tell it very serious energy. And what picture does this paint out there is that nothing good is happening here. And so people are not even willing to come around to say want to do business because the way the media is structured in Nigeria only tells the bad news. We have data about things that are not working. We have data about things that are so bad. But on the good side of the country, nobody is telling it. And this is the challenge that, of course, the country is facing. So when people are thinking about Nigeria, the things that they can easily think about are the things that are not working. And this was a challenge for us. And so in 2022, we were in the UAE, and we saw the way the environment was working. It's not as if the things that are happening there, we don't have them here. But the way they are positioned in the media makes everybody want to do business with them. So we decided to also come back home and see how we can position media differently in Nigeria. That we're not just going to be talking about politicians, how much money is embezzled, but we also need to talk about the good things that are happening within the business environment. There are a lot of people who are doing excellently well. There's one woman selling amala there, is training their children overseas. Nobody is giving them the platform to talk. So Souq News came into existence to give platform to businesses, small and medium scale businesses, voices in Africa, so that people all over the world can see what we're doing, see your visibility, support your project, and then of course you can also become a global champion.
You walk around, you see people doing great things, doing business, but if you ask them if they have their business registration, you discover that some of them business for a long time, for some of them 10, 15 years, and they don't have business registration. Some of them, they don't have business accounts registered in the business name, or they operate these businesses practically in their own name, and this is part of the challenges that they face in accessing finance as another challenge, because as part of the challenges that will occur when you don't have your business properly structured, access to finance also becomes a challenge for you, as you do not have credit history developed over time for people to make informed decisions on whether they want to partner with you or not. So these are part of the challenges that small businesses face in developing their businesses. Thank you.
What we have done is to actually connect financial access to digital inclusion, right? By providing the opportunity for SMEs based on, like Mr. Debbie mentioned something about credit score and things like that, based on their credit score, their record keeping, and their transaction history, to be able to access some type of funding. Right, so what about what I'm going to have to mention? Right, so there's money that's accessible single digits, ranging from about 7% to 3%, starting from as low as 100,000 up to 5 million. And the best part about it is that this product initially is free to the SME. All they need to do is to register. It's called Simplify. They're able to establish their online presence. Photographers, barbers, small shop owners. There's no reason why they can't use technology, right, to actually formalize their business and be able to create that history, to be able to access funding that is available to them. By becoming more organized, more productive, and also more effective. So, as people in finance know, it's about following the money. Usually there is criteria that is set out, and this criteria, just like he said as well, it requires certain things like coming to the formal economy, right? Taxes, business name, having a bank account. I used to have a tailor that started from absolutely zero, right? He built his business such that he had like a bungalow in front and back, several staff. When you want to pay him money, he pays into his private account. Doesn't make any sense. And he's actually well spoken, better spoken than I am. So until SMEs can actually understand that it's about criteria, right? And it's not free money. They have to follow a process to meet these criteria. Then they continue to laugh. I've been in a session with the Marine Director here at the stakeholders meeting where some of the SME associations are complaining to, I won't mention Development Bank Association, that, oh, you're saying you have 5 billion, you're saying you have 10 billion, but only 5 members have collected this money. And the representative told them that, look, there is criteria. Some of you know this criteria, you're not of that. Some of you are just too disorganized. Some of you actually qualify, but you just don't want to put yourselves in a position where you can access this money.
But I would like you to tell us, there might be 5 business plans on the table. Yeah. What makes one better than the other? What are the key things as a lender that you look for?
So, we mentioned financial discipline is one, I'm looking at your, for example, the requirement that you mentioned are part of the document that was submitted to me, and part of the business plan. But in reviewing all these documents, I'm looking at the financial discipline amongst all of them. Who amongst all of them is disciplined enough to, because it shows, as you are modeling this document, it shows the plan.
Discipline, retaining funds or less expenditure?
No, it depends. It depends. For some businesses, it depends on the nature of business anyway. No one size fits all.
Correct, but
yes.
usually what are the things? It's just different sectors.
Like generally, you look at how you leverage expenses, right? What do you spend your money on? Basically, it shows in the business how you expend from your business. Do you use it to solve personal problems as against destroying family businesses?
I think content they say today is king in the media. What we're doing today is that nobody's creating content for you, you're actually creating your own content. Take for example, you produce granite and you're showing on your mobile phone, for example, the process that you take to produce this granite as it comes to the market, and people are looking at it and they say, oh, how hygienic that you are. They're not just buying something because you also find it. Because there are too many narratives in the social media, for example, today, people believe that there are some certain things that want to buy chips on the road and say, oh, they are using chemical to produce it. Now, this discourages a lot of people from participating. But if you create content to show, for example, from your oil, how it's genuine.
Social media.
Social media, yes, of course.
Together,
yes,
professional to do it, or it's something that they can do on their courses?
Of course, the mobile phone is a television house today, really. So you may not even name a media house, for example, and you put them together on either your Instagram or your Facebook, and the word can say it, and it gets viral, especially when the story that you are telling is so touching and has a human angle to it. And what I'm saying is that yes, for those who are big, yes, you can have somebody who is your media strategist, is going to help you design content and invest so much on it. But as a small business, you can actually create your content with your mobile phone. And most of the content that you see today that actually go viral are done on mobile phone, not on the big cameras that, of course, the medias are carrying. But what we can only do is to validate some of all this story when we also give you the platform to tell the story. And then, of course, we help you distribute to wider audiences. There are a lot of platforms, there are a lot of softwares that are available today in the space. Some of them are free, some of the lessons you can actually get. For example, if you download a Canva, for example, on your phone, it can help you aggregate your photos, your videos within your phone and produce a content. There are AI-powered tools today you find on the app. Before now, when, of course, as a radio station, you want to produce your ident, you need somebody to come voice from it. Today, there are AIs who does that free for you. And those facilities are available, and of course, businesses can leverage it to actually tell their story.
Okay, so how you now be helping small businesses today? We're doing it in 4 ways. The very first thing is we're helping businesses manage their transactions. And I talked about efficiency in the first place, right? We are managing transactions by ensuring efficiency, automating certain things that you need to do, so that small businesses can focus on producing whether your product or creating your design as a service provider. As a result of those transactions, we are also using that to build credit profiles for small businesses. Credit profiling is a big issue in Nigeria and Africa today. Right? There was a publication outside recently that the CBN have confirmed that businesses can now have transaction histories passed along with banks, which is a great thing because it has been a major problem till date. Right? So that's how we're solving that particular part. And another thing is we're providing financial insights. Please take note, I didn't say data. Data is the raw form, right? Like I give an example within the team. I say data is your road, your pepper. Insight is the soup, right? It's the useful form of it, right? Because a lot of businesses have a lot of data, right? But they don't know how to make use of it. So we provide financial insights that you can actually use to make data-driven decisions to achieve continued success. And the last thing is, which we know is super important for businesses, is investment opportunities, right? How do people access investment opportunities? Because a lot of small businesses have stash cash that they're not using. Now, bordering on efficiency, how do they make efficient use of money that they're not using to run their business daily? And I'll border on one more thing, which is payments I talked about. So in the digital world of today, security is a major issue. And how we're solving that is by ensuring that people or businesses have seamless and secure transactions every day. We have stuff like escrow. I'm sure a number of us must have heard of it. And escrow basically means that there's a middleman that collects the money when two people want to transact. Then after the transaction is done, we pass it to who's supposed to receive it. And as a result of that, we've had a lot of satisfied businesses growing daily based on that.
MSME is the issue of accessibility to finance. And one of our flagship products, which I think I need to talk about here, is a product that actually helps to support, micro and small scale business owner to be able to repay a loan. Giving them, some kind of guarantee or support, through microfinance bank, microfinance institution, cooperative society, and all of that. I sometimes wonder each time I listen to institutions that are doing lending, talking about collateral. There are actually an insurance product that can actually help support an MSME to see them through the period of that loan and then able to repay their loan. And what we do therefore with that product is that we support lending institutions, we support cooperative society. All of these institutions are involved in lending so that we can support them, provide some kind of insurance that can see the customer through the period of that loan and then able to help them repay in case they fall into any challenges and they do not have the ability to repay the loan. Our product also, like I said, earlier on, cut across virtually. Even a Keke driver can actually have access to a full form of insurance. And then going to your question, one of the some of the major challenges, and I'm actually going to talk about just 3 of them. One of the major challenges, which of course, both from the supply and the demand side, is the issue of awareness. When you talk about awareness of insurance today, many people would say they don't know even micro, and that's why I started earlier on speaking about what microinsurance is actually all about. Awareness is still not, we have the fault, some of us who are the operator. Most of our strategy are, most times killed to the above the line customer. I mean the literate and the major organization and all of that. I think we need to readdress our strategy to ensure that it also addresses some of those the BTL, that's the below the line kinds of customer, where we have quite a number of MSME. And of course also the issue of public trust and negative perception is still very much there in insurance. A lot of people still, even though there have been a lot of improvement, a lot of people still feel insurance, they do not trust the insurance company to be able to pay to pay their claim. And I tell you, a lot of people have actually been made in that regard. There are regulatory supervision these days that ensures that when an insurance company takes your risk, they must fulfill the obligation of paying claim. And should they fail to do that, there are sanctions that goes with that. And then thirdly, the issue of God forbid. I know, that's culture, of course, religious belief. When you talk about, most of the time when our representative goes out to go and talk about insurance, the moment he mentions death or anything, or disability that could, be a form of insurance coverage, they say God forbid. So there are a lot of God forbid, and people most times do not want to actually listen to insurance companies. People pick the product before they stop them from having. I do believe that if we are able to address some of these things, if we have opportunity and the kind of collaboration that we do, especially with the like of Asbon, where we talk to their representative about insurance as we are doing today, many people will actually see the benefit of insurance and then be able to take on a product that will help them remain resilient and sustainable into the future. Thank you.
My apologies for coming late.
but you know Lagos is very big. So, but I'm nevertheless delighted to be here, and all the more so, I'm happy that I also got here in time to listen to some of the very insightful dialogue on the just concluded panel. That was really very good. I'm here to deliver the Executive Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu's speech, and goodwill and thank you, appreciative comments by the Special Advisor, Deputy Director General, Open State Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency, and my dear sister, Ms. Shola Arubieke. Representatives of the commerce, representatives, obviously myself, my colleagues from the Ministry of Commerce, Industry, Trade and Investment, all here. Applaud them now. The Director General, Federal Research Institute Oshodi, FIRO, Mr. Lawal Adekunle. The President and convener here today of the Association of Small Businesses in Nigeria, ASBON, Dr. Femi Egeshola. Representatives of governments here present, leaders of business membership organizations here present, esteemed members of the panel of discussion, distinguished guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. The acceptance speech by Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. I am truly honored and humbled to accept the esteemed award for the most supportive governor for MSMEs in Nigeria from the Association of Small Business Owners of Nigeria, ASBON. I commend ASBON's leadership for their unwavering commitment to the MSME community and for tirelessly advocating for small businesses throughout our country. I dedicate this recognition to the hard-working people of Lagos State, especially our enterprising MSME community, whose resilience, creativity, and entrepreneurial spirit drive our economy. From the beginning of our administration, we've understood just how important micro, small, and medium enterprises are in fueling economic growth, creating jobs, sparking innovation, and alleviating poverty. To create a greater Lagos, it was clear, and it is clear, that empowering our MSMEs, the true engines of grassroots development, is essential. Our firm commitment to supporting small businesses is evident in our policies and initiatives, which include expanding the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, LSTEF, providing billions of naira in loans and grants to MSMEs across various sectors, making it easier for them to access affordable funding and grow their businesses, launching the post-COVID-19 Lagos MSME Recovery Fund, which delivered essential relief to businesses hit hard by the pandemic, investing in enterprise hubs, business clinics, and industrial parks to foster environments where businesses can really flourish. Strengthening market access through initiatives like the Lagos State MSME Trade Fairs, the ECO MSME Digital Marketplace, and forming strategic partnerships with private sector players. Facilitating capacity building training and mentorship programs in collaboration with local and international partners, helping MSME operators gain the skills they need for the digitized world. Inaugurating the Lagos State Council on MSMEs to create a coordinated platform for policy development, advocacy, and support for small businesses. Simplifying the business registration process and introducing tax relief measures to lighten financial burdens, particularly during these economic times. Over the past 4 years, through the Micro Enterprise Support Initiative, MESI, we have empowered more than 11,000 startup businesses, particularly focusing on vulnerable groups, women and graduates from our skills acquisition centers. Our goal in Lagos State is to tackle poverty, is to boost wealth, and to help ease the economic challenges faced by the people of Lagos State. What is most important is that we are committed to listening, to engaging directly with MSMEs in order to truly understand their challenges and work collectively to create sustainable, impactful solutions. I want to assure you that we will ensure a business-friendly atmosphere, investing in infrastructure, encouraging innovation, and promoting inclusivity, making sure that every small business in Lagos has the chance to flourish. So let me take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude once again to Asborn for this recognition. Your commitment to celebrating excellence in entrepreneurship is truly admirable. To all, yes please, let's applaud it. To all MSME operators in Lagos State, your contributions are appreciated and your government is firmly behind you. Let us keep working towards building a greater Lagos, one that is competitive on a global scale, economically thriving and socially inclusive. Thank you all, and God bless you. Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu.
Yes, kindly put the award. Please come on, come on. Will you 7 up to mix and go yes or yes? Yes. Now let them know so that they can continue to. All right, please take the award to Her Excellency, and she will do us the honors of presenting.
I'm incredibly delighted on behalf of the Nigeria National to present to you on behalf of ASBON the Nigeria National SME Business Awards. You are the winner of the SME Impact Leader Award, SME Man of the Year Award. I'm delighted to present to you Mr. Siad Madu, the Managing Director of Seminole Public Company.
Please look at the camera. And so, the next award.
Give me the mic, I will not let it go, by the way. Madam, thank you very much for the award. It's a great honor for me to receive it, especially from you on behalf of Mr. Governor. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. Together we make a better Lagos.
For Mr. Governor, as the SME-friendly Governor, and this award will be jointly presented by our own Shola Obieke. Please come up, and Dr. Femi Egbe-Shola presenting this award to Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, SME Most Friendly Governor of the year 2025. Let's celebrate that.
Presents the Nigeria National SME Business Awards for 2025 to His Excellency Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu as the SME Most Friendly Governor of the year 2025.
Okay.
Business-friendly reforms under the Nigerian National SME Business Awards 2025. Can you give it up to the winner?
I'm delighted to accept this on behalf of the entire, because you know, as they say, it takes many people to make a village, and it's actually a team award. So these are the Director of Commerce and the Deputy Director of Commerce, and we all work together. So it's actually our Power Award. Thank you all very, very much indeed. Thank you.
I present to you this award as the SME Most Supported State Ministry of the Year. Big congratulations.
I'm very delighted on behalf of ASBON and the Nigerian National SME Business Awards for the year 2025 to present to Prince Adetapo Oluseun Abiodun, the Executive Governor of Ogun State, for the award of the Best Governor in Enterprise and Investment Promotion in Nigeria.
So it's an honor to present to you SME Hero in Public Service, and the winner is Shola Amiyeke.
On behalf of Nigerian National SME Business Awards, year 2025, the Vibrant State Investment Agency in the Nigeria State category, and the winner is Ogun State Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency.
On behalf of the Nigerian National SME Business Award 2025, Most Supportive State Commissioner for Small Business Growth in Nigeria, the winner is Mr. Bola Emmanuel Sofela. Congratulations.
On behalf of the Nigerian National SME Business Award, year 2025, I'd like to present this SME Microinsurance Company of the Year Award to the winner, Oxy Microinsurance Company Limited. Congratulations.
Right, let me others on.
On behalf of the National SME Business Award, the year 2025, we are presenting you SME-centric television station of the year 2025. Winner, of course, is Souq New Television. Congratulations.
On behalf of the Nigerian National SME Business Award 2025, SME Retail Bank of the Year, we present this award to the Papa. Congratulations.
On behalf of ASBON, I present this award to Souq.
On behalf of the National SME Business Awards, year 2025, the first SME Man of the Year, and the winner is Finance Bank.
afternoon, everyone. Mr. President asked me to give a 10-minute speech. I'm not very good at speeches, so I'll tell you a story. They introduced me as the MD of 7-Up Bottling Company, but I am the MD of 7-Up Bottling Company. I'm the chairman of the Food and Beverage Recycling Alliance, and I'm the founder of a company called SME Scale. When I meet people and they ask me and I tell them my titles, they say, how lucky you are. And I look them in the face and say, guys, I'm not lucky at all. This is not luck, this is determination, this is sweat, this is 24 hours work. Now why I'm telling you this story? Because I've been working very closely with SMEs for the last 2 years. And SMEs fit within 3 categories. The lucky SMEs, starting a company is so easy. Anyone can go tomorrow and start a company. The ones that work hard and smart and maybe a bit lucky, they scale up and grow very fast. The other ones, the second category of lucky SMEs are the ones that shut down. The third and worst category in my point of view, and please guys, what I will tell you now, you might not like it, but the worst category of SMEs are the SMEs that continue 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Because we are like, SMEs are like human beings. We are born as babies, then we become children, then we become teenagers. I went in a coma for 1 year, not knowing what to do. I was on the shock. So I moved after that 1 year. I said, enough is enough, I have to do it. I started traveling and working in the worst countries in the world when it comes to safety. I don't know if anyone worked in Iraq after the American invasion. And people say Nigeria is unsafe. There, you have a probability of coming back home of 50% every day. I had to work 9 years, getting all my salary and paying to close my debts. And big thanks to Nigeria, the last year I came to Nigeria and I closed my last debt in Nigeria. So, if we look at that journey, when I closed my company, you all were much better than me. Nobody can debate that. But the moral of the story is, when we are determined to do things, when we do it the right way, the results will come. It took me 9 years to recover, and I made a promise to myself that I want to make people avoid that experience. How do I help people not go through this and go through nine years of suffering, and it wasn't suffering? Who better than Nigerians that I should give that back? I've been in Nigeria for the last 18 years. I never lasted in any other country more than 1 year to 2 years. I madly fell in love with Nigeria. Nigeria made me what I am. And this is what I said. I want to pay back to this country, and paying back in double-sided way. One way through the economy, as it was mentioned, because SMEs are the economy. And the second way is, how do I minimize the suffering of people? Companies that struggle, based on my experience, how can I pass on that experience? Based on that, we do every 10 days a one-day workshop for 100 SMEs, where I manage 90% of the time. I sit with them, I talk with them, I joke with them, we plan together. And I categorize them in 3 categories. 1/3 come to the workshop to chop food. What do I do? They just come to eat, leave, finish, they disappear. Another 1/3 or more come there, they want their business to grow, but they want to move all the problems to me so that I grow their business. It doesn't work that way. But there's a
10%, every session I have 5 to 10 SMEs that I feel they are determined to grow. They have a good idea, they have the passion. This is all what is needed for you to grow your business. Whatever people tell you, sometimes I get offended by SMEs telling me, I'm waiting for the grant from here or intervention. I say, why the heck? You are not beggars, guys. Without money, with small money, if you have a great idea, you will get the money. Whether from BOI or from a grant or from a bank. If you have a great idea, you can do it. So, the objective is not to make you better SMEs. The objective is to take you out of the SME space and go into the larger mega companies. You might